Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Let's Draw by me, Blut084, BLUT084 Art and Games. And today we're going to be doing some more on the sketch I did yesterday, which was the Angel of Death. And we'll be putting some more detail on the wings itself, a little bit more to the Celtic cross behind, and colouring and inking the main picture today. So keep tuned. Again, just to pre-warn everybody, it is going to be a lengthy one, probably about an hour or so, getting this completely done, because I like to put as much detail in as possible before I end the stream. But if you guys do want to sort of fast forward, if you're catching back, then I would recommend doing that, or keep watching and learn with me how to do inking on bone wings. Again, I'm going to be pulling some pictures up, getting some ideas as well, and getting some other things from the other places, just so I've got everything right, because there is nothing wrong with copying. If you need to copy, you got no problem with doing that, because art is copy, see do. As always, guys, we've got a playlist in the background, and we will be listening to The Ghost Rider once again. And I'm going to be continuing on from yesterday. And if you missed yesterday's episode, don't forget to click that one. Check out how we got to this stage, and what ideas I used, what techniques I've used, and what sort of area I went. Hopefully, again, we'll be joined by Nikki, as this is the last week of Dark Month.
Spirit within Robbie Reyes isn't the spirit of vengeance. What is it? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I hop into a demon-controlled car and I drive into battle before finding your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and breaking them down into digestible bites. They're not really dramatically that to you. All alterations of the panel's text and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Damn it, I turned into Ghost Rider again. At the end of her last chapter, Robbie Reyes was given a chance to come back to life with the help of a spirit named Eli. Robbie was given many abilities, and he found himself in a fight.
So, guys, I'm just quickly putting up some information for myself.
AKA Mr. Hyde.
And I'll give everybody on Instagram a quick heads up that I've gone live.
Eli had given him. And then late one night, Robbie sits with two other street racers as Robbie begins to count his winnings from that evening. Eli says, "You are grossly misusing our powers. You should be punishing the night scum, not sitting idly by like this." The next morning, the news reports of the battle, now currently known as the Urban Super Battle at Hill Rock Heights, and how the fight involved escaped fugitive Dr. Calvin Zabo. The reporter on scene reports that there have been many eyewitnesses to that battle. One of the children took a photo of something interesting. The image on the child's phone shows that of Robbie in his car blazing down the street. While the news continues, a man sits at a bar watching. He sees the image of Robbie and Eli. He pays his bar tab, and he leaves on his motorcycle. Over at Lincoln High, though, Robbie attends class like normal, but after school, his teacher, Mr. Wakeford, mentioned that it's nice to see that him and Guerrero are now on civil terms. While that seems to be the case, as Robbie leaves, Guerrero turns to his crew. They're all still recovering from what happened in that battle with Robbie, so they're about to be ready. And tonight's the night. Later, Robbie and his brother Gabe visit one of Gabe's counselors, Dr. DaCosta, and she mentions how Gabe has vastly improved lately. It must be all of the time that Robbie is spending with him. Gabe has seen increased mental and physical stimulation and shown amazing improvement in his motor skills and communication. So whatever Robbie is doing, he has to make sure he doesn't stop. As the night goes on, Robbie and Gabe head home for dinner, and once Gabe is put to bed, Eli says, "We need to go out and crack down on those who need punishment." But instead, all Robbie wants to do is sit and count his street race money. "You got a duty. With great power comes great." But Robbie stops him. He knows all about great responsibility. He's had it as long as he can remember, and he has no intention of becoming a vigilante. Eli tells him that he could use his power to change lives for the better. Well, Robbie considers that to be exactly what he's doing for Gabe right now. The next night, Robbie goes back to win more money from the street races, and over in Skid Row, a homeless man meets up with a group of other homeless men to show off the cool gun that he found after that fight at Hill Rock Heights. But it's not the only thing that he found. He also found a bag of pills, and they could probably make these guys a ton of money. As all of the homeless men begin to go to sleep, one of the homeless men's dog finds the bag and starts to eat. Before he can stop his dog from eating more, the dog grows into one of the beasts that the pill creates. The dog attacks its owner and the nearby homeless, but that's when the man takes out his gun and begins firing on the dog. He manages to stop the dog, but as the rest of the homeless men lay lifeless, all of the nearby animals come to eat some of the pills that have been thrown around. Elsewhere, Guerrero and his crew are doing good. The next day, Robbie runs a few errands. When on his way, he asks Eli why he's been so quiet lately. Eli tells him, "I don't care about street races. You've been wasting both of our time and completely misusing the power that I gave you." Before he could continue, though, Robbie's phone goes off, and it rings with another offer for a race over in Phoenix for a total of $5,000. Robbie tells him that he'll be there, and then after the call, he tells Eli that $5,000 for a day's work isn't too bad. Eli tells him, "We have more pressing matters. You're wasting time. You got your revenge on Guerrero, but I still have some of my bullies to beat down." Robbie mentions that he told him to trust him, and he appreciates being brought back to life, but he's starting to think that his well-being isn't exactly Eli's priority. 5 hours later, over in Arizona, the man from the bar overhears an argument involving Robbie knocking a biker's bike over. The biker tries to start a fight, but Robbie tells him that he's sorry, he doesn't want any trouble. And Eli says, "How disappointing." But then Robbie turns around and headbutts the biker in the chin, and then turns to punch another man with him. And Eli tells him, "That's right, get it all out." And Robbie jumps on the biker and starts to beat him. After being bloodied from the blood of the biker, Robbie realizes what he's doing, and he jumps in his car and he leaves. The man on the motorcycle watches and starts his bike as Robbie drives off. That day at school, though, Guerrero and his crew seem to have magically gotten better, as they are now all out of their bandages and braces rather quickly. As Mr. Wakeford sits at home, the news comes on again, talking about a recent string of robberies involving medical facilities. More accounts have been added to the already high number of robberies, and the robbers are leaving some sort of call sign.
Okay, guys, I think I've got everything ready here.
In blue spray.
Just finding all of my bits and bobs. I'm going to find some pictures up online about wings.
But that night over in Phoenix, Arizona, Robbie has just won his race, and the man that he beat says that their thing isn't done just yet. The man gives him an
And if you want to hit the comment section, guys, and say hi in the chat, you're more than welcome to do that. So go hit that live chat button and say hi in the chat.
New medication for Gabe that might be able to help with his recent improvements, except that the cost is really expensive. Robbie tells her yes, he's definitely interested in continuing Gabe's improvements. As Robbie sits at the table trying to figure out how to get that money, Eli tells him, "Actually, that race can fix that. All you need to do is let me have full control. I'll win that race with..."
Okay, that's a message on Instagram.
For that street race,
Again, my name is Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games, here every day on YouTube, occasionally on Mixer,
Robbie tells Eli he can really use
and every day
now, but
and
Eli
night
being quiet
over
and
on
ignoring the
Instagram.
situation until suddenly Eli emerges and he begins to rip through the beast with his chains, and he rescues Robbie. Later, Robbie did lose the race and he pays the man, but in the back of Robbie's head, Eli tells him, "You shouldn't have given him the money. Those monsters attacked us." Robbie starts to sulk about how he let Gabe down, but Eli tells him, "We can go get that money back. Gabe's doing so much better. Why ruin it, Robbie?" Robbie tells him he's right, and he takes off in a fiery trail down the highway. Robbie catches up to the man and he begins to ram into his car until the man swerves off the road, driving into the barrier. Robbie tells Eli, "No, this isn't what was supposed to happen." But Robbie jumps out of the car to get the man out of his burning vehicle. But as Robbie tries to get the man to wake up, Eli tells Robbie, "Just take the money and leave." But as Robbie reaches down for the money, he hears a voice call out to him, and he turns. He sees a man with a flaming skull on a motorcycle. "Who are you? What the hell?" Robbie asks, "Who is that guy?" And Eli tells him, "I ain't got no clue, but I'm pretty sure this guy means business. Let me handle this." So Eli gets up and he jumps at the man, who is Johnny Blacklow. But Johnny grabs Eli by the neck and he slams him down. Johnny tells Eli, "You can't keep anything from me. I can see right through your souls. Yours is a piece of work, Eli Morrow. Murderous, sadistic, unrepentant Satanist."
As always, guys, we're going to be using the inking pen towards the end of the video today. And my Copic marker, brush pen, pencil, just to sort of finish things off and give a little bit of shading if it needs it, and the mechanical pencil for more detail and sharper edge. I'm not sure which of these pens actually work, but I do remember using these quite often. You get bold, which is quite thick, and they're very fine, and small, just small, you know what I mean? So I'm going to just test these quickly to see which ones still work.
Robbie says, "That guy may have done something to us."
Kind of works. It's a bit gone now.
Robbie is still feeling the effects of the fight with Johnny. He's having a hard time keeping himself
This
together.
one is gone altogether.
Shot and Guerrero jumps up with him, hits the ball from
Yeah, that
Robbie,
one's gone
and
now.
knocks it back into Robbie's face.
Hopefully you've got
Except
some
Robbie
left in this
isn't getting
one.
up. The coach takes Robbie to the nurse's office.
They're all
As the
dried
nurse
up, which is a
begins
pain in the
to press
bum, so I'll just get rid of
Robbie's
those.
The nurse tells him he's going to need an hour or so.
Must remember to get myself some new ink pens.
Eli controls Robbie's body.
Have you got ink pens, guys? What's your favourite kind of pens to use when you're inking?
"I'm going to kill you" in Spanish. And as he gets out of the
There's
car,
going to be the bog standard Sharpie, and my ink pen, which I always use, which hasn't run out yet, which is really weird. Because I've had it quite a few years. And obviously, the usual traffic markers. But first, what I want to do is give this a little bit more detail where it needs it. I might do a little bit more to the hands, so make them look a bit more bony.
Finally, Eli finds a box with the names in it, and he starts to leave. Gabe calls out for Robbie to wait, but Eli just ignores him.
Things like that.
Gabe starts to crawl out of his room, asking Robbie, "Aren't you hungry?" And Eli remains silent and turns off the lights, leaving Gabe on the middle of the floor. Elsewhere, Johnny begins to do some web searches for Eli Morrow. And it turns out that this man was a devil worshiper who's killed 37 people and suspected of 15 more murders over in West Hollywood. Eli walks straight into a club and breaks a bottle over a bouncer's head. He then takes the bottle to one of the other men inside, telling him, "Long time no see, Andre. Man, you got pretty fat. Where's Ivanov? Tell him Eli Morrow's back in town looking for payback." Back at home, Gabe tells his toy Ninja Wolf not to worry. Robbie will come back and play with them because Robbie's the best brother in the whole world. And he knows Ninja Wolf. He's hungry too. He crawls through the kitchen and he opens up the fridge, but he can't reach any real food. So he opens up the bottom shelf and begins to eat whatever he can get his hands on. Over on the highway, Johnny starts driving through traffic thinking, "Here I am again, trying to track down another one. I wouldn't call him a ghost rider, but whatever's inside of Robbie Ray is an entirely different beast. The spirit of Eli Morrow is not here to avenge the innocent. He's the spirit of a mass murdering criminal who escaped eternal damnation through satanic rituals." That's when Johnny senses Eli killing someone, and he whips around in flames. And he makes his way to where Eli is. In downtown Los Angeles, Guerrero welcomes the next member of the Blue Crew, and he stands before Zabo and the rest of the soldiers. Zabo tells everyone that their urban alliance will be turned against the gangs who are not a part of them, and they will rule this town. The Eastern Territory.
Just doing a few details here and there. I'll zoom in closer towards what I want to get done, but as you can see, I've already done a little bit on this hand here. I want them to be quite lengthy hands and things like that, so what I've done is just a few knuckles and things like that. It's not much you need to do when it comes to skin and bone.
Riding in on his bike, Eli tells Bones that you're getting on my last nerve, and Johnny remains silent.
As I say, when you're actually just doing bones, no, there isn't much to them really. As it's just a bone.
Looks down, telling him, "I expected more," but then he stops and asks, "What are you doing? I can't look away."
There isn't much I can do to the face itself because it's just going to be a skull. I do like the idea though of just having the jaw showing, but I'm not sure now I've put the face there if I should do that or not really.
Guerrero then throws him into a car and begins to drive off, but then he begins to ask, what is with all of the smoke? Did the cook set the kitchen on fire? Back inside of the building, Robbie tells the man thank you, now that he is in control of his body again, thanks to Johnny's pen
and stare. And here comes the adverts.
A moment to breathe.
Shut up, you.
It's there.
Right, I'll have that back on, thank you.
There's a lot of evil inside of you. I think
bone wings, and again, I think I might change the wings ever so slightly to a different shape. I have seen a really good picture here, which I found a minute ago for bone wings, and I think I might get closer to those there, because mine are looking a bit plain and a bit boring.
Eli will take over again, and he will hurt the ones closest to him. That's when
they sort of come down. There's the main hook piece, or the talon. Then we'll come sort of.
Realizes that it was
okay, we won't use that one for that. We'll come down to something like here.
I was so hungry, Robbie. You left me alone in the dark.
And then
Robbie sets Gabe
bend it in.
And tells him he's so sorry. You didn't need to. It was all an accident.
And then maybe bend this a little bit more.
In Zabo's warehouse, Zabo tells Ivanov that they have a common enemy right now.
And then have the bone wings coming down.
He can offer him protection. Ivanov begins to laugh, telling him, "There's nothing you can do."
We'll see what that looks like for brothers.
And tells him, "Just watch." All of the soldiers next to him begin to swallow the pill. They all transform into larger, hulking creatures. They start to beat on the car, crushing it. The next day at school, Guerrero begins to follow Robbie into the halls, telling him, "I know who you are." Robbie tries to say that he doesn't know what he's talking about, but Guerrero punches Robbie and he says, "I know you're the Ghost Rider." As Robbie gets a hit and the rest of Guerrero's men jump in to beat him down. And that's when Eli says it, "Lose your mind, kid!" Eli takes over and he jumps back up and he kicks one of the thugs in the legs. Then Guerrero turns and pulls out a knife and starts swinging. But Eli catches the blade in his hand as Guerrero stabs through it. He then
what do you think of those instead?
Crush it. As Guerrero screams out in pain, Eli reaches out with his other hand and he slams Guerrero down by the face and begins to crush him again. But before he can do any real damage, one of the other thugs runs up and breaks a bat over the back of Eli's head. Guerrero's crew begin to pick him up, and as the police begin to arrive,
bit of a knuckle here.
Before anyone has a chance to stop him,
and then again with the hollow sort of in between. Again, you'll see a lot more of this when I've inked it, and I think we'll try and use this. Then here, pencil even.
Eli tells
You
him,
can see
"No
where I'm
problem.
doing.
I'll be there. Just over
As
and away
this pencil here
But as
is
Eli's
more
getting ready to
a
leave,
sharper
there's a knock at the
detail.
door. When Eli answers it, it's his
So
teacher
I'll try and
telling
use
him
this
he
one.
handled everything in school for him.
I
stating
think
that
for
he
this
fought
part,
self-defense. The reason he's here is because of Gabe. He picked up Gabe for Robbie, but Gabe seemed like he didn't want to come home. Is there anything going
as
on?
a bog
that
standard
Mr.
lead
should know
pencil,
about? Eli says,
that one's
"Actually,
generally
there
sort of
is
get the
something you can help
shapes
me
and
with,
things,
so
but
hang
this
on a
will
moment."
define the
He walks back and
lines
he
and
grabs
give
the
you
hammer
a
and
much
begins to walk
better
back over to Mr. Wakeford. Robbie tells him no,
idea.
just
So
as
inking
Eli
without
selects the
inking,
hammer,
really.
but before he can connect the hit, his other arm reaches out and punches him instead. Eli tells Robbie to let go of his arm, and Robbie shouts for Mr. Wakeford to leave and never come back. But as Mr. Wakeford starts to get back up, Eli jumps in the car and leaves. He drives out to the bridge that Ivanov told him to come to, and he steps out stating, "I'm surprised you kept your word and showed up." Ivanov tells him that he doesn't hide from Satanist purpose. And Eli jumps on Ivanov and pulls out a knife. He starts trying to swing down, but Robbie is inside of him, stopping him from killing Ivanov. Before Eli can do anything else, Guerrero comes in from a nearby building, swinging down on Eli. He gets knocked away, but as Guerrero comes to stomp on his head, he gets back up, and he changes into his Ghost Rider form, launching Guerrero away. Guerrero starts to charge back, but Eli trips him over the side of the bridge and tells him, "Good riddance!" Robbie screams out, telling Eli, "I won't give in, not this time." And he begins to gain control of the Ghost Rider body, quickly throwing the chains down, grabbing Guerrero's leg instead of killing him, and flinging him back up onto the bridge. As Robbie checks on Guerrero, the rest of the Blue Crew jump out, and they start ganging up on Robbie, beating him with anything that they can grab. The beatings continue until the two of them fire rockets at Robbie, but before they can hit him, Johnny appears out of nowhere, blocking the explosions, asking, "You need a hand?" Robbie starts to get back up, and Johnny tells him, "Remember, harness your rage and coexist with your demon, and then you can unleash the unrelenting wrath of vengeance, like a Ghost Rider." Robbie and Johnny start to ride through the crowd, swinging chains, while Ivanov begins to escape, and once it's done, Robbie and Johnny stand over the bodies of the entire Blue Crew. The next morning, Johnny shakes Robbie's hands and tells him, "If there's anything you need, just call upon any of the Ghost Riders. For better or for worse, you're a part of the family now, Robbie Reyes. You're a Ghost Rider." And that is the conclusion to the second arc in the Robbie Reyes storyline. Now, the next arc is going to further explore who is Eli Morrow. And trust me, it's really interesting to find that stuff out. We're going to be getting into it real soon. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this Ghost Rider being in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. And I'll see you next time right here. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at ComicStorian and Instagram at ComicStorian. And I already said I'll see you here next time. Well, I'll see you here next time and next time and next time.
There you are, guys. We'll see you in a moment. But again, don't forget, if you want to find out where you can find them, all you got to do is ask down below.
Running today.
Oh, no.
When you hear about Fallout 76 with the
No one
perception.
cares about anything.
Now that Robbie
We're doing
understands
today.
what his Ghost Rider is, can he learn to work with Eli Morrow? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues, and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations of the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is literally the end of the original all-new Ghost Rider storyline. That's as far as they got before they canceled the series. Now, they've already announced they are bringing the series back since he's now been introduced on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So if you want more Robbie Reyes, and you want to see him get an ongoing series, go buy the new book when it comes out. It's the only way to get it to keep going. At the end of our last story, Robbie Reyes was struggling, learning how to handle having Eli inside of him. So much so that it drew the attention of Johnny Blaze.
I like the wings looking a bit better. Don't you dare fall off camera. Liking the wings the way they are now. I did kind of like the way they were, but I think they just looked a bit plain, and I want to put a little bit more detail to it before I start inking. So I get everything right.
Started to let the rage take over after he fought his way into the hangar.
Before ink, because once you ink, there ain't no going back.
Eli looked at him and told him,
But that's not the case when you digitize.
Furious. Robbie frees the
As
children.
that will be the next stage, which probably will be tomorrow now.
Robbie appears out of the ground, grabbing the man and holding a knife to his eye, while Eli tells him, "Do it! Kill him! Put the knife right through his skull!" A little while later, Robbie drives off as the cops arrive, and Eli tells him, "You have the spirit of a serial killer. Do you really think you can call the cops and just ignore this overwhelming need for murder?" Robbie tells him that he will hold out forever if he has to. He's a Ghost Rider now. And Eli asks, "Are you so sure about that? Because I'm about to make you very angry." The next day at their doctor's appointment, Gabe told Dr. DaCosta that lately he's been feeling weird. He's been wanting to try new things, but a voice deep down inside keeps telling him no. Dr. DaCosta tells him that is perfectly normal. That voice that he hears, that's his conscience. And it helps him decide whether doing something is right or wrong. As they finish up, Robbie says that he's a bit concerned about his brother Gabe. He's thrown his Ninja Wolf away, and he's lost all interest in his toys and comics. He doesn't even come out for dinner anymore. She explains that Gabe's just growing up. He's 13 and he's beginning to act his own age. It's the age of self-discovery, wonder, and insecurity. Just think about what you were doing at 13, Robbie. Robbie thinks back and then he says he'd better go take care of Gabe. Later, on the car ride home, Robbie receives a call from his classmate Lisa asking if he can help her out with some of her calculus homework. And he tells her that he's pretty sure he can help. She just needs to swing by his place since he's watching Gabe. Once he gave her the address, Gabe says he's not a kid anymore. And Robbie says, it's so we can spend time together. And Gabe responds with, is that why you ruined my room and left me alone in the dark with no food? In the back of his mind, Eli asks, how does it feel to have your only friend and family turn on you? Doesn't it make you angry? But they eventually arrive home, and Robbie tells Eli he's an idiot. He's not going to get a rise out of him. Eli says, well, if that doesn't do the trick, maybe you should think about why you were born fine, but your brother wasn't. Maybe even think about why you're so mesmerized by that car. Or have you ever wondered why my things were under the floorboards in Gabe's room? Take a look inside the box, Robbie. Robbie grabs the box and pulls out a picture, and on it, it shows him, his parents, and someone else, Uncle Eli. Robbie thinks back to his parents arguing just before she had Gabe, and Eli says that his dad defended him, just like a big brother should. But in the end, they both got what they deserved. Eli asks Robbie, you must be dying to know, right? Having pushed all of those memories deep down inside, trying to forget why your parents abandoned you and burdened you with so much, burdened you with Gabe. Robbie shouts, he is not a burden. And then he hears the doorbell ring. Lisa comes in and the two of them begin their homework. But later, when Robbie drives Lisa home, she says that, you know, she's not failing calculus, right, Robbie? Robbie says he did kind of figure that out. He does enjoy hanging out with her. She tells him she knows he doesn't have a girlfriend. She would like it to be her. So as the two of them are about to kiss, Eli tells him, this girl makes me sick, just like your mother did. So sick that one day I pushed her down the stairs, hoping the pregnant cow would die. But she didn't. She did fall in her gut real good. That's why your brother is the way he is. Robbie's eyes light up and he tells Lisa that he's gotta go. That he'll call her tomorrow and he drives off. The rage begins to take over Robbie as he drives, and all I can do is scream while he begins to transform. The next day, while Robbie and Lisa watch TV, Eli says that he wanted to kill them.
I ran out of lead on that pencil, that's annoying.
Over in Gabe's room, Gabe tells his conscience.
Just sharpen this a second.
Some weird things. The voice
That's
tells
one
him,
thing with mechanical pencils, you never know when you're going to run out.
I'm a spirit of justice, and you can call me
I just
Eli.
did.
There's a reason you didn't throw away your comics.
That's a mechanical pencil. I forgot to go and get some more this weekend. I was going to get some more, but I'm just going to use my box standard pencil here.
That hero that saved you? Well, that was me, Gabe. And back then when I saved you, I knew that
Bit
you
of
would
sharp
be a
edges,
hero.
I've already
Gabe begins digging through his
get into
closet
the-
and stating, I need a costume. He pulls out his old Ninja Wolf costume. And Eli tells him, that'll do just fine. A little while later, Robbie is called into work and Lisa offers to watch her at Gabe. And once Robbie leaves, Lisa takes Gabe out to get his medicine. On the car ride, though, Lisa leaves Gabe in the car while she runs into the store. And when she comes back out, Gabe is missing. Gabe is watching from an elevator while Lisa starts to look for him. And on the elevator, Gabe is changing into his costume. People stare at him, but Eli tells him, don't worry about them. We gotta see this through, kid. As they reach the top floor, Gabe looks out the window and tells the spirit of justice he's scared. And Eli tells him, you trust me, right? You want to be a hero? Then jump. While working at the shop, some guys walk up to Robbie asking if he's Robbie, to which he tells them yes. First
That'll
guy
do
says
for that,
no.
I think.
Igor Yaivanov says hello. And they begin
Take
opening
away a little
fire
bit
on
around the
Robbie.
wing,
The
so
man
we've
outside
got-
on the phone with Igor holds the phone out
Still
asking,
see
did
them
you
a
hear
little
that?
bit there.
Not sure why you're sweating so much.
We'll
about
link
this,
them,
But Igor tells him to make sure the kid is dead.
sooner
Don't
or
let him
later
transform.
today.
But it's too late. As Robbie starts kicking
right
all
now,
the
I'll
bugs,
just sort
and
of
Eli says,
get
as
the
long
right
as Igor
idea
Ivanov's
where I
alive,
want things
Robbie,
to
I'm
be.
not avenged. We will never catch a break. And if you don't kill him, no one around you is safe. Once the fight is over, Robbie calls the police to come by, and Eli says that the girl, Lisa, she won't be safe until Igor is dead. Nor will Gabe. Then Robbie's phone rings and he sees that it's Lisa. And Eli asks, maybe it's too late already, Robbie. When Robbie answers, Lisa tells him, she was gone for a second. It's all her fault. Gabe is gone. Robbie meets up with Lisa and the two of them begin driving around looking for Gabe. And just as Robbie asks Eli, what did he do? Gabe opens the front door and just stands there. Everyone goes inside and Robbie starts yelling at Gabe asking why he did that. And Gabe says that he was tired of waiting for his dumb girlfriend. So he took the bus home. Robbie tells him to apologize, and Gabe says, for what? Eli says, teenagers can just drive someone mad sometimes, can't they? And as Robbie tells him to watch his mouth, Gabe throws his controller in Robbie's face. His eyes begin to light up. Lisa tells the two of them to calm down. But Robbie lunges and grabs Gabe by the neck. Lisa pulls him off, and Eli asks, did you just try and kill your own brother? He'll never trust you again now. Gabe storms off telling Robbie that he hates him. But before he shuts his door, he turns back, and Eli says, say goodbye to your brother. Because he's mine now. Robbie sees the fire in Gabe's eyes and the door slams shut. He shouts for Eli to let him go and he kicks open the door, but Robbie sees that the window is already open. So he runs out front to see the car drive.
Adverts. Give me a second.
Yes, she thought. I have had my vision.
Okay, that was a weird one.
Igor is getting ready to leave when Eli, controlling Gabe,
I'll just
comes
use an
running and
ordinary
shouting, "There's no
H
more
pencil
running,
or
Igor,
H2
hide up."
or 2H,
Igor's men
whatever you
start
want to call it.
driving off and shooting back at Eli, but Eli jumps from car to car, slamming into them until they flip. Igor crawls out of his car, calling him a monster, and Gabe responds,
This basically
"I'm not a
means
monster,
it's,
I'm a hero. He's the bad guy, right, Spirit of Justice?" And Eli tells him,
heavier
"Yes, very
lead.
bad.
It's not
Stop
lead
him
anymore,
and he'll
but you
be
know
a
what I mean,
hero
graphite.
forever and ever."
But
Gabe
we have
nails
got
him,
inking
Robbie
to do,
calls
like it
out
says
to
in
him,
the
"Don't
beginning of
do
the
it."
video.
Gabe turns around and Eli says, "That's my enemy."
So
Let me
let's
handle
get on
this."
with that a little
Eli
bit more.
leans towards Robbie, and then the Charger drives
And,
through Robbie,
show you what I've done
striking
so
Eli,
far.
knocking him into the wall. Robbie throws down his chain, but Eli grabs it and pulls him closer, telling him, "You've been a
Let me
real
go-
thing
let me know,
trying to
guys, what do you
negotiate
think of
with-
that one?
With this body, it's more docile and easy to manipulate."
I think the wings
Robbie
are looking
grabs
a lot
hold of
better now
Eli
than
and the
now I put some
transformed
more
Gabe
detail
body,
on there.
But then Eli grabs him off his back and slams him into the ground. Eli makes his way to Robbie as he reverts himself, shouting to Gabe, "The thing inside of you is Eli Morrow, and he's a bad man, Gabe. You gotta trust me.
I don't really
I've
want to
always
use
been
the
there for you.
Sharpie
I
because
always
it's
will.
very,
I'm your
very, very
brother. I
fat
love you, Gabe."
ended,
Eli starts
and
to
I don't want to
laugh.
use too much of a fat end
That savvy
on
stuff
this.
won't work. And then his
Not
body
just
stops
yet,
and
anyway.
Gabe shouts, "I love you too, Robbie." And then
So what I
Eli
will
just begins to
use
scream,
is my
"No!"
inking pen,
The
which is
spirit
my
begins to
baby
leave
little
Gabe and
flicky
re-enters
lead
the
as well.
body of Robbie.
It's the
Gabe falls down, and that's when Igor begins to
Uniball.
crawl towards Gabe.
Not
With the
so
spirit
scratchy,
back in Robbie,
if you know what I
Igor
mean.
tells Robbie
Very,
to stay
it's
back
fine
and kill the body.
and
Robbie
waterproof
looks
fake.
back, and then chains shoot out of the ground and into Igor, and it starts to burn. Eli
I think
says
I'm
that he
pretty
can
much
burn
happy
for
with
that.
everything
But
that's
as the
going on
chains
in the
pull
body
Igor down,
section.
he tells
I just wanted to do a
Robbie,
little bit
"You
more
did
to the
it.
wings.
Now that you've
As
killed
for
someone,
the
our souls are bonded for eternity now, kid. I will
Celtic
curse
cross
you.
behind
I
it,
will
I'm kind of
bring your
happy
body
with
and
just
soul.
having that
I'll
as
rot
it is,
you out from the
as it's like the
inside.
background.
Your
It's
will may be
nothing
strong,
really.
but not
You don't want to
strong
be
enough to
seeing
withstand a
when you look at the
satanic
picture.
serial
You
killer.
don't want to be
And as
seeing
the smoke begins
the
to
behind
settle,
it. You just want
Robbie
it
says,
to have
"I'll make
something
you a
that's
deal,
just
Eli.
there
Find me the
and
worst scum on
sort
the
of
planet.
enhances
Find me
what
the
you've already got
torturers, the
looking
killers,
at you
the
or what you
rapists,
should be
people
looking
like
at.
you, and I'll destroy them for no one else." Eli begins to laugh. "Well, you got yourself a deal." And that's the conclusion of all new Ghost Rider. The book ended at this point. So now that Eli and Robbie are working together, it's going to be exciting to see what the next book that's coming out thanks to the TV show is going to do. And if you want to see more of this Ghost Rider, you need to go pick up that issue 1, that issue 2, that issue 3. The only way that this story is
Sorry
going to come
guys,
back
if you're a
is
fan of
if
comics,
you
don't
buy the
just
books. And this is your chance to tell
follow
Marvel,
the,
"I want this superhero."
films,
All right,
'cause
follow
they
me on
don't
Twitter
get
at
everything
Comic
right.
Historian. Follow me on Instagram at Comic Historian, and let's chat about Ghost Rider.
Go and get yourself the comics because they're worth the read. And if you're one of those non-believers that don't think it's reading, it is. It's just very little. A little less cumbersome when you've got something a little page to read instead of a full book. Because some people, like me, don't like reading the full book all in one go because it's too much. It's tasking, and you start to not enjoy it after a while.
Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I read trade paperbacks and
Whereas I like to draw, and I've gotten so many ideas from comics just by reading them, just by looking at the pictures. Because I like to draw, I like to get different ideas.
Is a single issue on the Marvel Digital line. It's the Ghost Rider Christmas Special. But I think Ghost Rider versus Santa just sounded so much cooler. Gabe, Robbie's younger brother, is wheeling out of school with the other kids laughing at him because he believes in Santa. They explain that that's ridiculous. Why would Gabe believe in Santa? Gabe tries to play it off, stating that he was joking, but the other kids won't let up. And as they leave, Gabe sees his older brother, Robbie. "Big bro," he shouts as he sees Robbie standing there with a smile. But as Robbie leans in to give his bro a hug, Eli speaks to him. "Robbie, there's something nasty lurking around here." Robbie looks around and sees nothing. So he tells Eli, "Calm down."
I don't know if you can see that okay. Again, it's quite camera doesn't do me justice exactly. But you will see it once I've gotten to the point where the ink is dry enough. I'll rub out all of the sketch lines, and you can see just the inking afterwards.
Except you hear some clomping on his roof and a jingle of some bells. When he looks out his window expecting Santa, he sees a twisted face licking the window. His parents run upstairs to see a hole in their wall and their son missing. Over at Robbie's, Eli chimes in again. "Robbie, stop playing around. That evil presence I felt earlier is getting stronger. We need to move." Robbie begins to run towards the trouble, with the fire blazing all around him as he changes into Ghost Rider. The car roars off as they go after the evil presence. Eli tells Robbie to give him control. They can't waste any time. But Robbie argues, stating that he knows the streets of LA better than anyone. As they roll over to the evil, Robbie sees the holes in the walls, and then something catches his eye. Santa's sleigh. Are you kidding me? Is that Santa Claus? You know, kid, you're a bit too old to be believing in Santa Claus. The car races down the streets as he goes alongside the sleigh, and that's when they see the twisted, demonic face smiling and looking back at them. Then explain to me who this is, Eli. The kidnapped kids all begin to call out for help from the bag, and Robbie realizes that there's a bunch of kids there and just
Santano.
They race after him and almost hit a civilian as the sleigh picks up speed. Can you make this thing go any faster, Eli? Cool it! I got this! Then the sleigh lifts off the ground. You better think of something fast, Robbie! I can't make the Hell Charger grow wings! So Robbie stands up through the roof and he tosses his chain onto the sleigh. He hooks onto the bottom of it and the evil Santa monster sneers back at him. Ha! You're not so dumb after all, kid! Then the sleigh begins to lift the Hell Charger off the ground. Where the hell are we going? I don't know. Just hang on tight! Gabe looks out his window to see the sleigh and the Hell Charger soaring through the sky. Wow! Robbie was right! Santa's real! The demon looks back at them. I hope you buckled in tight, because it's about to be a rough landing. The sleigh then goes straight down, aiming for the North Pole. Ghost Rider pulls himself out of the snow, coughing from the hit. Oh, I guess the snow took the edge off of that one. Wait a minute. Snow? I think this is the North Pole, Robbie. Then behind them, the evil Santa runs into a cave with the children in tow, and he tells someone, we've got company. Ghost Rider knows this isn't good as a bunch of imps jump out to fight against them. They start biting into the Ghost Rider's arm, and they jump on his back, and they begin to bury him as he's calling out, get off me! And then he swirls his chain around, throwing them off of him. Ghost Rider then runs into the cave, and Eli tells him, I thought you were losing control back there. You sure you don't want to just give me control? Dude, I can handle this. I almost got eaten by a bunch of elves in Santa jackets. Who the hell would be calm in this predicament? Finally, they get to a corner, and they look around and see goat legs and horns. And they realize it's not Santa, it's Krampus. The Punisher from
Krampus! Ooh, there's an idea.
Ghost Rider walks into the room with the
Next month is going to be V for Vendetta and fireworks, but or where the origination from fireworks. I might go into a bit sort of history of fireworks, but goblins instead of elves this year, maybe for some drawing. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comment section. What would you like for that time of year? Do you want the bog standard elves? Because we'll be doing some elves and Father Christmas and things like that. But if you guys want something a bit more darker, let me know.
Believe, and the fire blazes around him. He gets up to a surprise Krampus, and he burns him with the fires of hell. And the story's completed. Ghost Rider saved the day, and he returned the kids to their homes. He walks into his own home, and Gabe is super happy to see his brother. He was working on a drawing, and he couldn't wait to show Robbie. So he sits down with his brother. He shows him Santa on his sleigh. Because he saw it. He really saw it. As the two of them hug, Robbie looks back at the picture again. He sees something that Gabe had added that his hand was covering originally. A card being dragged by the sleigh. And that concludes one of the cooler Christmas specials that came out with these recent couple of weeks. Ghost Rider Fighting Santa. If you don't know about the Marvel digital line, they do these things called Infinity Comics that only come out on digital, and if they sell really well there, then they get reprinted. But there's some pretty cool stuff going on over there, like Doctor Strange and Punisher teaming up. Just check it out on your favorite digital retailer. Anyway, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at ComicStorian and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time right here.
Not much I can do there. It's looking very dark on screen, but you'll see what I mean in a moment.
Marvel Legacy has come out. Marvel Legacy is their version of DC Rebirth. Now, it's not a carbon copy clone. They both have their pros and their cons, and Marvel Legacy is almost like a giant ad book for all of the oncoming comics. So is DC Rebirth. But that doesn't matter. Today, we're going to run through the Marvel Legacy book so that you can be prepared for what is happening in Marvel now. And at the ending, I will tell you where each and every one of these books goes, and we will flash through the covers.
I'll probably best tell you that what I'm listening to necessarily is happening right now in the excuse me. What is happening in the comics is just what has happened. A lot of these videos, because a lot of these are old videos now. I just like listening to something like this when I draw because it just inspires
1
me
million years
and
ago,
makes
on
my
Earth,
mind be free.
in the
It's very important to keep your
there
mind
was a
free,
hammer,
guys, when you're drawing,
and it lay in the
because you
ocean.
just get convoluted with
It
your own
tried the
ideas and you don't
hardest,
know where you're going.
couldn't lift it. No one could. That wasn't until one man walked forward. He told the cavemen to get the hell away from his hammer, and he wore a helmet with wings on it, a blue tunic, and animal skin parts. He looked down at the hammer, telling it, "I will break you. You stubborn hunk of Ura. I will bend you to my will, even if it takes 1,000,000. And another voice tells him, "You lost it again? It's soot, that's all." A woman on fire tells him, "For an all-father, you're a terrible liar, Lord Odin. I think whenever you throw it, the hammer sees an opportunity to escape." And Odin tells the fire woman, "I think you should mind your own damned business." The burning woman touches down next to him with a foot on the ground. "Your prophecy in battle has become my business, Asgardian. Whether I like it or not, for the Phoenix does not plan on dying here today. Did you see the monster fall?" Odin turns his back to the Phoenix. "Dying? Does this look like Valhalla? Nay, 'tis still just Midgard. Damn me a fool for ever creating this place. It has been nothing but trouble. And I, pretty bird, I saw it fall. 'Twas Mjolnir and the Odin force that finally felled the beast." He reaches down, grabbing his hammer, and with everything he has, he picks it up off of the ground. Even the Phoenix comments that it seemingly took a lot of effort to lift it up. He walks to another group of people, one in a panther skin, one with a brand burned into his chest, one with a flaming skull for a head, another with fists of fire and a sorceress of green. That's right, they are the Black Panther, Starbrand, Ghost Rider, Iron Fist, and Agimoto. One might even call them the Avengers of 10 million BC. This group of heroes from the before times looks over at a being that looks like an alien. It's odd and out of place in this barren wasteland of time, and it is in fact a celestial. A race of cosmic giants as old as time itself, and this one landed on Midgard. He begins to rise, and the team discusses what they should do next, for there are more out there. This thing is huge, and it may crush the earth. And as Odin leads the charge, he shouts, "We will kill it! We will nail its corpse to the moon to warn others not to come here. For this world may be hideous and inbred, but it is not without its protectors." Now, in the current day, Robbie Reyes awakens in his car to some tapping on the window. He wakes up confused as to where he is, and he sees the guy tapping on the window as a police officer. Looking around, he hits the gas and he speeds off to discover that he is in fact in South Africa. He races around the streets and the hills until he sees a glowing man in the dust. "Ryder, I knew you'd be the first to come." He punches a hole through the window, telling him, "Robbie Reyes, I am sorry, but I can't let you near it." He grabs Robbie, throwing him to the ground. "You are not ready to face the destruction of what it will bring to this world. None of us are. That is why it has to stay buried, no matter who has to die to keep it that way. No matter who Starbrand has to kill." And that's when the car runs over Starbrand.
Okay, I'm going to let that dry in a second.
Now he's mad and his headlights on fire.
And let you guys have a look.
Your face is about to be destined to be punched 1,000,000 times by the damn
Give you a close up.
toaster.
You may be able to see it, but I might need to take away a lot of the
Loki stands there in front of his true
grey
death.
underneath.
I know what you're thinking. This isn't the life I was expecting, that I was destined to have. Join the club. Now, go through the portal and retrieve the trinket. He sends them off on their mission, and the giants find themselves standing in a hidden shield facility. And as they go through, he tells himself, "Hi, I'm Loki, the littlest, most liarish giant. And believe it or not, I'm here to save the world." At the facility, the shield agents walk inside, and they...
So guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section.
And this is where the worst of the worst is kept. They know everything in this facility, except for that one crate in front of them. 4-1939. Elsewhere on that base, the giants are making their way through the facility, and the agents request backup ASAP. The guard on top says that they have 2 individuals en route, and they respond by telling them that they won't need the elevator. Thor and Captain America break through the wall, entering the battle. They swing their hammers, their wings, and the shield, beating down on the giants until one grabs a hostage. That's when Ironheart soars in to shove that giant down. As they make nice and get ready to fight again, the unmarked crate 4-1939 sits nearby, glowing. In another part of the world, a man known as Steve Rogers is sitting in a diner when the news explains what happened. The leader of Hydra was actually a fake Steve Rogers, and he is now in prison. So the question is, where is the real Steve Rogers? While this man is sitting in the diner, the question becomes, does he even know where he is? because at this point he seems a little lost as to what is happening next. Can he regain the trust that his evil doppelganger lost for him? And up in Asgardia, the home of the gods, Odin's son is sitting with a beer in his hands and thoughts of being unworthy in his head. He decides that if he can't be worthy, then he'll be drunk. And that's when a Azar stands on the Rainbow Bridge, looking out over the vast cosmos in front of him. He jumps off as he says 3 words. Mangog is coming. The whole of Asgard shudders without knowing why. Over in the Stark facility, Mary Jane Watson is brought into one of the most secure rooms to see if she can figure out why the body of Tony Stark is missing. The last report said that he was still in a coma from the Civil War II event back in South Africa. The Ghost Rider punches Starbrand in the face, knocking him down. Stand down, whoever you are. I don't want to hurt you. Well, maybe a little after you touch my car, but the more you push me, the more the hurting is going to happen, whether I like it or not. Starbrand grabs a rock, throwing it at the Ghost Rider. You're learning to control the demon inside more and more every day, but you still hold back, which means you don't truly understand why you're here or what's at stake. All the more reason for you to fall. The Ghost Rider lands in the streets of a town, and Starbrand flies over, blasting the spot where he landed. These are times that will try us, that will reshape everything that we know, especially those of us who have been here since the beginning, since the Great Fall and the first host. This world is cursed. Because of us, its chaos is our greatest legacy. He rockets forward, grabbing the Ghost Rider by the throat. Beings like us must protect this world from ourselves. And the Ghost Rider replies with fiery hell breath. Stop the cray and fall the hell down already. Over at the dig site, Ghost Rider slams Starbrand into the ground and the panic ensues. No, not this place. The Fallen is drawing me here. I can't let the Rider find it. I won't! The men digging tell him to raise his hands, and he doesn't give them the time of day as he blasts them, killing them, and he soars back into the sky. Meanwhile, Deadpool is in the dark, looking at a wall. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I'm not exactly sure which sins, if I had to guess, I'd probably say all of them. Deadpool with bullets. To his body, he simply says, "Thank you, Father. May I have another? Thank you, Father. May I have another?" Over on Bleecker Street, Dr. Strange is feeling something coming. And Iron Fist asks him, "Doc, this might sound strange, but did you have a dream that you were a caveman fighting a god?" And Strange tells him, "Many times." Back with Captain America, Thor, and Ironheart, they are fighting off the giants they attack, and one by one they get dropped. But eventually, one of them slips by and grabs a crate. A crate labeled 4-1939. Back in New York City, 2 individuals are overlooking the city. You may know them, you may not, but they're important to our tale. Johnny Blaze, the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing. So much is going on, Ben. Do you think they even remember us? I mean, they can make a whole team out of Hulks and Thors right now. I worry, but the world just doesn't need us anymore, Ben. Spoken like a true moron, as usual. Do they need us? You bet my sweet Aunt Petunia they need us. Johnny, now more than ever. Who cares what folks don't remember? As long as we never forget. And he fires the Fantastic Four symbol into the sky. Back out in space, there's a new intergalactic nation forming, one of Wakanda. And there's a signal shooting back from space, one from Sakaar to Earth, telling the Hulk that it is time to come home. He is needed on his planet again. And back in Africa, the Ghost Rider has a chain wrapped around Starbrand until Starbrand snaps it, telling him, "Accept your defeat! You cannot defeat me!" And the Ghost Rider tells him, "Ghost Riders aren't good at staying down." As Starbrand burns him in the chest, "You will learn. The Starbrand will teach you to be thankful for the quick death I'm about to give you, Rider." And the Ghost Rider looks back at him. "Not afraid of death, but tell me, are you afraid of a little penance?" The penance stairs goes off, burning into Starbrand's soul, and he looks up in horror. So many dead, so many. You are all doomed. The sleeper will wake. The horde will feed, and the host will. And then he explodes. The Ghost Rider reverts back to Robbie Vegas, and he asks himself, since when can I do that? This whole thing makes 0 sense. He loads back up into his car and he drives out of the dig site, the one that Starbrand was so afraid that he would find. We then see
There's one side of the wing. Again, I'll get rid of all the
they were hiding this whole time. So
pencil
bad that
markings underneath very soon. But I kind of like that grey.
Celestial
Might keep that.
and it speaks. So the final host cleanse them all. Back in the shield facility, Thor, Cap, and Ironheart are finished, and the agents come down and say that everything is accounted for. At least what they have records for. Because elsewhere, that giant is running with one fox, the one that they got away with, the unmarked one. And just when he thinks that he's going to make a break for it, a truck crashes into him. He gets up furious, calling the driver stupid, so the driver gets out of the cab and walks down to him. "You hear me, human? You're dead!" And the man looks down at his knuckles and gives them a crack. "Nah, not no more, I ain't. Claws pop out of those knuckles, and he swings at the giant's face. And back in a cabin in the woods, Jean Grey approaches it and walks inside, looking at the tomb of one of the greatest heroes that she ever knew, Logan. But this isn't the resting place for that hero anymore, as his tomb has been broken open, and she smiles. Welcome back. We missed you. Back in the truck, Logan pops the top of a beer, and he chugs it down before sticking the can in the giant's open chest wound. He looks over at the crate that he dropped, the 4-1939 crate, and he opens it up to find an Infinity Stone. And as he looks at it, it shines over his face, showing us that this is the right Logan, the young Logan. Ain't we a hell of a pair? Out in space, the Guardians of the Galaxy get a ping. Another Infinity Stone has been found because they're on a journey to find them all, to save the universe. And Loki steps down into the dig site where he hears the voice, "Summon the final host." And Loki agrees. Now that's a good idea. Why don't we do that? Everything is building to this. The final host coming, the universe is in jeopardy, and the heroes will be needed. There will be a want for legacy. The legacy of saving the world. So, what do? I suppose we do what our kind always does. What has become our legacy? We stand on the shoulders of super geniuses and space gods. We close our eyes and imagine a better, brighter, more amazing tomorrow. Then we bring it to life. Something grand and fun and mind-staggeringly ridiculous. Something full of hope.
Ridiculous.
Something both real and profoundly mad. Something magical. Something fantastic. Because somewhere else, not in space, not on the planet, between the universes is a hand, and it is reaching out. And a child's hand reaches back. Franklin Richards asks his sister what she's doing as she snaps, telling him, "Mind your own business." And as they both race off, imagining home and how they can get there. There you have it, Marvel Legacy. If you want to know my opinion on this storyline, I thought this single issue was great, but this single issue doesn't matter. It's going to really come down to how good are the follow-up storylines. Are they good? Are they bad? Are we going to enjoy them? Because one issue does not sell me that Marvel is going to be that much better at this point.
What I noticed with the bone wings, guys, is to make them look a bit more bony, and they're actually bones instead of just sticking out of his back. What I've done is, I don't know if you can see there, but I did one side, then the other, and I put a little bit in between, just so there was two bones intermeshing.
Really hard. The hardest is everything that gets
Sort of, that's how I tend to get things.
Frame IO to have all the video you're working on.
As I said, that's what I saw on the other picture, and that's why I thought, wow, you know what, that looks a bit more like a bone than just a single bone itself. I'm trying to make it gruesome and gritty.
Multiverse come together to battle against a new villain, and it was fun. It was epic. It wasn't really thought-provoking, but you got to see a lot of Venoms kill things. But before they started that series, they had the Edge of the Venomverse series, in which we were introduced to a whole bunch of these new Venoms. Now, that was 5 single issues, and we did do the Wolverine one already, but you know what? I didn't want to let you wait. I didn't want to leave you sitting here. So today, we're going to
we're getting some Venom then. Must be that. Must be the end.
We're going to give you the Gwenpool, the Deadpool, the Ghost Rider, and Old Man Logan in this entire video. And if you subscribe, you'll get Venomverse next week sometime.
Venomverse. Yes, please. Okay, I think it's now time to go around.
2. What if Gwenpool had a Venom symbiote?
The
comic book world, Gwen has used her vast knowledge of these worlds to make a name for herself, as well as
I think it's cold now around. Actually, no, thinking about that. I will rub out what I've already done here, so you can see the difference between inking and sharpening it up with
something from someone who wanted to get rid of it pretty badly. And that something just so happened to be a Venom symbiote. One of the men reported
and just a little bit of ink here and there.
Back up, showing her claws, asking them, "Are you sure?" But before she can kill those men, a shuriken flies so they are hitting Gwen in the shoulder, and she turns back to see the ninjas and says, "You know what? We would love to feast on ninjas." Her head begins to grow with more of the symbiote, and she begins to chomp down, eating everything that she can get her hands on. And as she continues killing everyone, one of the ninjas shouts they need to retreat, and they start throwing their smoke bombs. Venom sighs, "They're all gone!" And Gwen asks, "What, are you not full yet?" Then there's another voice that calls down to Gwen, "Daredevil." She shouts, "It's you! It's really Daredevil!" And Matt Murdock tells her, "Yeah, and you are?" She says, "Oh, Venom? Gwenum? Venompool. I'm working on a name." Matt tells her, as much fun as beating up ninjas is, tonight they're going to have to try and figure out the larger situation that was the hands.
Let's get rid of all of the inking, colouring,
He then
things
signs,
like that.
telling her, "It's always tomorrow." Nice to meet you, Monster Gwen. The next day, Gwen heads to the law firm that she applied to work at when she happens to see Matt Murdock sitting across the table. She dumps the paperwork for her boss, shouting, "Hi, Matt Murdock!" She takes her seat and begins to doodle while Matt explains that this firm's client facility produces a noxious and potentially hazardous substance that is spreading across a 5-block radius. Melville says that there's no evidence that anything that their client is working with is hazardous to humans. It's just hot sauce. As the two of them go back and forth, Gwen puts on the finishing touches to one of her drawings, and it's Matt Murdock as Daredevil because he's so hot. Venom then tells Gwen, "We should kill your boss. He's being mean to the cute boy that you like." And as Matt leaves, Melville asks if anything's wrong. Gwen snaps back, telling him, "Of course not." Melville then reaches down, grabbing the notes that Gwen was taking, telling her that he needs to get prepped just in case this actually does go to court. She smiles and nods and then realizes that she just handed her boss a sheet of paper that says Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Maybe she shouldn't have been doodling. She runs out of the office asking what she should do, and Venom says, "Oh, we should just kill him." And Gwen tells him, "I'm trying not to do that." So Venom sighs, pulling the fire alarm. The entire office exits the building, and Melville shouts that he's going to go work from home. He can't deal with this now. He gets into his car and he leaves. Venom
There you
says,
go, guys. There's the difference between
"We can then get the folder." Gwen
pen
says,
and
"Just
pencil.
stop it. We don't
You can
need
see
to go there
a little
right
bit
now."
more detail.
As she
Again, I'm going
leaves,
to give
Matt
you a
Murdock's
quick
sponsor, it starts to fall.
scan
A short
over
while
so you
later,
can see
Gwen
from the
makes
very
her
top,
boss
and I will be
and
doing
goes
that
to Venom shouts, "Just kill him! Save the cute lawyer tell. We
the
are hungry."
thing behind it.
The mask begins to wrap back around Gwen, and she says, "Well, he is a terrible boss." But just before she can jump in, Matt punches her and says that he's starting to think that she's actually a serial killer. She swings back, telling him, "You don't understand. I'm trying to protect you." And as the two of them struggle, Gwen throws Matt inside of the apartment, and Melville shouts, "To me, my ninja." Gwen says, "Wait, what?" And Matt tells her, "You'll see." A few seconds later, the hand and ninjas appear, and Gwen says, "Of course! My boss is actually evil." While Matt and Gwen start taking out the ninjas, Melville grabs a gun from his desk and fires it at Matt Murdock. Gwen quickly creates a shield and blocks the shot.
There you go. You can see the difference between now on the inking, and you can get a little bit more of an idea on how to wear a sort of get a shape. All you do is just put a shape, and it's well, it's just lines and drawing, really.
Matt says that this is not among his ideas of how he thought his secret identity would be in jeopardy. She nervously laughs, and Matt hops off the ledge, stating, "Duty calls. Maybe we'll see each other again next time in a bad guy thing. Thanks for trying not to kill anyone." She tries to contain her excitement that Matt implied that they might see each other again, and Venom says, "Look, it was good that your boss died. This is what we wanted." And then Matt returns, stating, "Actually, I don't see any reason why we can't patrol together." Venom begins to hiss, telling him, "I don't like this. Something doesn't feel right." And Gwen tells him, "Just relax. What's the worst that can happen?" As she follows Matt around the corner, Venom tells her, "Run before," and the two of them are teleported away. Moments later, Matt climbs back up the building, stating, "Actually, I just thought about something. Maybe we should patrol together." But that's when he discovers that Gwen is already gone. Next up is issue 3. What if Ghost Rider got it? Over at the Shield facility, Dr. Calvin Sabo, the mutagenic drug dealer, is getting ready to be transported to another jail. The officer tells everyone that he has an incriminating testimony, so there will be plenty of people trying to make this as difficult as possible. As soon as the convoy leaves, the officer spots someone ready to shoot them with a rocket launcher, and they immediately engage. Explosions begin to go off, and the officer on the side says, "That didn't take very long for that to start." Calvin laughs, telling him, "What can I say? I'm an extremely popular biosadist." Outside of the truck, it's become a complete war zone as every villain across the city is trying to capture Calvin. One, though, jumps down, slamming one of the trucks, shouting, "Come chase my Minox of Doom!" Calvin asks, "Is that a tentacled Yeti in a red mask?" And the officer says, "Uh-huh." So Calvin then says, "Octo Squatch Pool!" And the officer tells him that is the nastiest sounding name that she has ever heard. Just then, a fiery wheel drives over one of the villains, and the current Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, along with the Venom symbiote, shouts, "More heat!" While killing everyone with his chain and flail, Venom shouts, "Such sinewy sense." Venom then hooks his chains up, lifting the car onto the convoy, letting it eat the flying monkey men. Octo Squatchpool shouts to Venom, "I have kill cuddles for everyone," and he smashes another truck. Venom then turns to save the officers flung from the truck and then uses them to beat Octo Squatchpool. Venom then tries to wrap Octo Squatchpool up while the last of the convoy speeds by running them over. The truck spins out crashing, and just as Calvin says, "I think I'm getting a migraine," Venom rips open the hatch, telling him, "Boo." The officer jumps out of the truck with Calvin telling Venom, "I would like to thank you for defeating Octo Squatchpool. I'm pretty sure you didn't mean to concuss my men." But before she can finish, Venom opens his mouth, letting his tongue wrap around the officer's neck, shouting, "Silence! Be still or be tasted!" A few moments later, Venom pulls his tongue back and says, "Oh, fixations of justice, moral balance, basic human goodness, disgusting!" And he smacks her away. And Calvin gets back up, asking, "What are you?" Venom shouts, "Once upon a time, there was a boy named Ronnie Reyes who was possessed by a fiend. In his limited way, he worked with a parasite, serving the greater good. But with all of his luck, a second fiend found him, and now he is our host, the Rider." As Venom talks, he sniffs the air and he tells Calvin, "You don't smell afraid. Why is that, we wonder?" Calvin grins as he has an ace up his sleeve. He has a feeling in his bones. And Venom says, "Ah, you must be referring to the deal that he made with that mercenary known as Crossbones. He wants to swoop in and come to the rescue, right?" Robbie's cart burps, regurgitating Crossbones' half-ingested body. And Venom tells you, "How do you think we found you?" Calvin turns and begins to run, but before he gets very far, Venom chains him up, and Robbie breaks out, telling him, "Please, don't kill the innocents!" Venom pulls him back in, telling him, "Don't worry, we've come for his sin." Venom holds Calvin close and performs the penance kiss, sucking the sin out of Calvin and tossing his body to the side. The car starts to eat up the discarded body, and then Venom begins to feel something. Suddenly, he's pulled apart and teleported away, and as his body reappears, he shouts, "Who dares adopt me?" And Steve Rogers tells him, "Ask not what your symbiote can do for you, but what you can do for your symbiote." Now it's time for issue 4. What if old man Logan got a Venom symbiote? Off in the wastelands, the young Bruce Banner beats down on Logan, asking how he could keep this from him. Logan tries to tell him wait, but as Bruce kicks him again, he shouts, "It's been 15 years of lies. You're the one who killed my father." Bruce Banner Jr. walks away, and Logan tells him, "Come back." And Bruce tells him, "I don't care anymore. I want you dead now." The morning sun begins to shine in as Logan wakes up in the same nightmare in a drunken haze. Without so much as a word, the door to the motel room is kicked in, and Warren, the man that was formerly known as Angel, steps in. A little while passes, and Logan starts to come to the realization that he's in a truck. And then he sees Warren again. He shouts that he thought he was dead. Warren says, "Not quite. I've been looking for you after what happened at the mansion." Logan groans, telling him, "I spent the last 70 years trying to forget that mansion. After Red Skull, the Hulk gang, I finally moved on." Logan then stops and asks him, "Where the hell are we going anyway? Where have you been?" Warren tells him that he disappeared. He figured Red Skull would come back for another wing. And then he heard he was killed. But now there's a new crop of young mutants being trained. The new X-Men in the making. He had to see it for himself. He goes on stating that there's also something that he found out about his son. They're going to go see him now. Logan shouts, "That's impossible. I saw his body with my own eyes. Now stop the truck!" After asking a few more times and not listening, Warren pulls him to Xavier's old mansion in Westchester. The two get out and they walk towards the building as Logan says that he never really wanted to come back here. "It looks like hell. This is the place where Red Skull used me to kill everyone. Cyclops, Jubilee, Beast, and the kids, all of them." Logan walks through the door shouting, "Scotty!" And then suddenly Warren springs out a mechanical wing and throws the blades into Logan's back. He tells him that they are going to make this place his tomb. Now this time he won't be leaving. A little while later, Logan opens his eyes and he sees Bruce, Hawkeye's daughter Ashley, and Warren staring right back at him. After realizing the situation, he shouts, "What the hell is this?" Bruce steps up, telling him, "After the night that I learned what really happened to my father, I found out that not only did you have my family taken away, but you took away my entire empire." Logan shouts, "It was an empire of evil." And Bruce yells back at him, "But it was my birthright." Ashley then steps up, telling him Bruce's journey landed him on her doorstep, and they shared a common interest. Warren had his own reasons for joining. Ashley reaches out, grabbing Logan's face, telling him, "You've made a lot of enemies. And I've been looking forward to this since you and my deadbeat dad killed my men and crushed my operation." Logan says, "Clint just wanted to bring you home." And Ashley snaps back, "Hawkeye was old and washed up, just like you. But now, you're going to help me get it all back." Bruce laughs, telling him, "That's right. You're about to be swallowed up and spit back out. And then we're going to use your DNA to make Wolverine clones." A worried look comes over Logan's face, and he asks, "Do you really think this is the first attempt to clone me?" Ashley then shouts for Warren to open the door, and across the room, a giant metal door slides open. She creates a web whip and cracks it, causing the symbiote-covered devil dinosaur to come out. He gathers all of his strength to break free from the web binding.
Devil dinosaur!
Rubbing his hands together again, telling him, "Tell Hawkeye hello for me." Logan shouts, "You're going to see him before I will." And then he pulls on the webbing, flinging Ashley towards him. As soon as she flies by Devil Dinosaur opens up, chomping down her. Logan then starts to run towards Devil Dinosaur, and he jumps up, stabbing into his eyes. He whips around, knocking Logan off, and then he bites down, swallowing Logan whole. Bruce watches and says, "Looks like we're done for now." And Warren asks, "Shouldn't we check to make sure that he's dead?" Bruce tells him, "Nah. We have to wait for the symbiote enzymes to bond with his DNA. It'll be a few days. We'll come back." Just then, the Devil Dinosaur groans, and the symbiote starts to suck into its mouth. Moments later, the symbiote-infused Logan rips out a devil dinosaur's stomach and lunges at Bruce and Warren. Warren shouts that the symbiote must have sensed his healing factor. Logan then pulls back a...
I'm going to take another picture for Instagram, guys. Again, my name is Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games. Here every day on YouTube, occasionally on Mixer, every day and night over on Instagram. Again, if you want to see what's going on, all you got to do, guys, is go over to the app Instagram and put in the same name, just a different place.
That's it. Just feed all that rage. We gotta hurry. We don't want the little brat to get away. Logan hurries down the hallway to catch up with Bruce, and as he does, Bruce reaches out, grabbing Logan, slamming him into a wall. Bruce grips down on Logan's throat, telling him, I'm gonna finish what you started. And the tendrils of Venom creep out, and Logan says, yes, it is time for us to end this. And he kicks Bruce in the back. The tendrils wrap around Bruce's neck, and Venom shouts, that's it. Kill the boy. Logan pulls his face out of the symbiote and shouts, no, I can't do this. He's like a son to me. And a black portal opens up behind Logan, and Logan goes on stating, I kept the truth away from you because I loved you. The portal closes, and he went missing. And that's when Steve Rogers told old man Logan, that's real sweet of you. But now man up. We got a war to win. And now it's time for the last issue of Edge of Venomverse, issue 5. What if Deadpool got it back? As Wade Wilson sits in a tree eating a tapeworm-infested apple, he says, you know, we found tapeworm larvae in fossilized species of a dinosaur shark. That prehistoric shark poop, full of little bundles of parasitic joy. True story. So here I am, hoping that nobody goes poking around my VMs, 270 million years from now. He tosses the apple and tells the owl that he was next to, it's good to have this nice chat. I gotta get to work, though. He jumps up and climbs up into Ripley Diagnostics building, stating, peekaboo! Turns out the naughty doctor doesn't want to share his new toys with the Pentagon. Wait, did I just say doctor? I meant parasitologist. Augmented biological symbiotes. Stop. He starts to look around and he sees one Dr. Scott up here and he says, you really need to work on your lurching. Anyway, what's the haps, craps? Cat got your tongue. Tapeworms begin to extend from the doctor's mouth, and Wade cuts off Dr. Scott's head, telling him, I never kiss on the first date. The head flies off and the worms reach out, grabbing it and reattaching it. And so Wade says, that is easily the grossest thing that I've seen all day. Or actually, maybe like within the top 3 of the grossest things I've seen all day. The doctor shuffled forward, telling Wade, we are now your masters. And Wade says, haha, this has been fun, but it's probably time that the tapeworms get back in the jar. Dr. Scott leaps forward, grabbing Wade, letting the tapeworms crawl onto him, and that's when Wade notices a jar on the shelf. He looks at it, and it says, Venom Symbiote, and he sings, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to bother you again. He punches the glass up again. The symbiote begins to wrap itself around Wade. Suddenly, with a burst of energy, the doctors are thrown aside, and Wade stands up shouting, now that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm back. Everything's dry. He
looks back at Dr. Scott, and then he grabs his leg, throwing him
a little bit of shading here and there. What I might do is shade this with pencil as well, like I normally do, but give it a little bit more of a pokey colour on the clothing itself with the Copic markers, like I always do.
As he swung by the hospital to find the doctors in the middle of a parasitic liver
But
transplant,
still,
the window,
no,
shouting,
that's not the one I want.
Oh, wait, I'm too late, huh?
That's the one I want.
The patient jumps up at Wade, knocking him down, and then Wade pushes back on the patient, pulling the parasite out. The parasite then grabs Wade, throwing him into the defibrillator, and Wade reaches for it, stating, I wish I knew how to quit you. He takes the defibrillator and shocks himself, shocking the parasites off, and says, man, I felt that one with the gonards. The parasite then jumps back into the patient and begins to run out, and Wade shouts, Wade, come back with that meat suit! He bursts through the doors, and other patients that have been a part of the transplant project come out of the rooms. Wade tries to fight back the parasites, but with so many of them, the tapeworms begin to slither down his throat. Inside of Wade's body, the tapeworms begin to make their way to his heart, and they begin biting and chewing away at it. Then the black goop shouts out, grabbing and pulling the worms off. Wade begins to cough up the worms, stating, I've never felt so violated before, and that is saying something. One of the tapeworms begin to crawl over towards a nurse, so Wade grabs it and throws it against the wall, shouting, not so fast. He then turns back to the other infected and begins eating and killing them, stating, it is so good to be us again. With the parasites destroyed, he says, you complete us. The nurse from before, still not knowing what is going on, takes the bone saw and cuts off Wade's arm, screaming.
Bone saw is ready. If you know where that's from, guys, let me know in the comment section.
A simple thank you, Wade. I love you, Wade. Hold me, Wade. Would have been nice. He reattaches his arm, stating, how about him and the symbiote go do what heroes do and be heroic? He goes across the hospital delivering babies, making balloon animals out of tapeworms, and helping the elderly. And after his services are rendered, Wade looks at the window, stating, man, saving lives, inspiring minds, allaying tapeworms. Our job is done here. He jumps out the window and a black portal opens, grabbing him and pulling him through. As he falls through it into the now-destroyed city, he hears a voice telling him to get up. He jumps up shouting to give him one good reason not to rip his head off and eat it with great poupon. Steve's voice tells him there's a war going on and we're going to need all the help that we can get. Wade reaches up to grab Steve's hand, telling him, well, when you put it that way, sign me up, Sarge. Steve helps Wade up, telling him, actually, it's Captain. There you have it. Now that we've had all 4 of these and the Wolverine one, which I will link down below, which of these Venoms is your favorite? You have all of these wonderful options of Venoms to pick from. And next week when we do Venomverse, we'll have a lot more to pick from. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that next week. You can also follow me on Twitter @ComicStorian to get
We may be listening to Venom next week. We may be listening to some more Ghost Rider. Who knows what's going to be coming up next? Keep listening to find out.
You can also follow us on Instagram @ComicStorian.
But if you're a fan of what I'm drawing, guys, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to know what your thoughts are and if you can do something this yourself. Or if you've done something that you've seen that I've drawn and you've had a go at it yourself, let me know down below in the comment section, guys. Or you can send your pictures over to Instagram. Let's get rid of the adverts.
Comics tonight. Today, this is the weekly show right here at Comic Story, where we go over the solicits of your favorite comic books that are coming out today. We look for the most interesting comics.
Okay, that was the end of Ghost Rider. So let's find something else to listen to, shall we? I'm thinking I like the bit of Venom that we just had, but let's have a bit of, what should we have here? What we got? Again, we're on Comic Story, so I'm just having a quick look down through their lists. It seems to be, I've listened to a lot of it already. Trying to theme it towards this, but see if I can find some Nightwing. There we go, because Nightwing is in the new series, if you guys already know. Okay. Cancel that. Right. And let's start up this.
Welcome to Origins, where we go over the origins of your favorite superheroes and villains. A lot of you guys have been asking for the Robins, but we can't tell you about each of the Robins' origins without telling you the origin of the first Robin, Dick Grayson. Now, before you go, oh God, Comic Story, and I know this one. Do you know his history? Because there's more to this story in the New 52 version. Richard Dick Grayson had 2 loving parents, and he himself was the model child. Loving, caring, and when it was his mother's birthday, he even picked out the best gift for her. But of course, he wouldn't tell his father. It needed to be a secret to both of them. You see, the Graysons were a well-known circus act in the Haley Circus, so Richard's days were filled with fun and excitement. And on the night of his mother's birthday, Richard sat outside of his parents' trailer, and he listened as his mother opened the gift. It was a golden bracelet with 2 robins kissing on it. It was perfect, and she loved it. He just sat outside the trailer smiling as he heard them talking about how perfect of a gift it was. But that night, tragedy struck for Richard, as it does with most superheroes. The circus was tapped on funding, and because of this,
you can't have parents when you're a superhero, apparently.
Both of Richard's parents fell to the depths in front of the entire audience, and in front of Richard himself.
So you gotta have some reason to go vengeance.
Was Bruce Wayne, and he saw the terror in the young boy's eyes as his entire life washed away that day. So he took a special interest in Richard that day, and he followed him for the next 2 weeks.
Special
The
interest.
death of his parents was placed on a man who failed to properly set up the safety precautions, and Richard went on a warpath looking for that man, the man named Tony Zuko. But Batman watched from a distance as a young Richard ran in, risking his life to get his revenge. And on one night in which Richard would have received a bullet to the head, Batman leaped in to rescue him. He then brought Richard to the Batcave that night, and Richard put it together. Batman hadn't been following Zuko. He had been following Richard to protect him, and Batman didn't deny it. As a matter of fact, he removed his cowl, revealing to Richard that he was Bruce Wayne. He then offered to help train Richard to fight against Zuko, to turn his rage into a true passion and something that could protect Gotham City. So they spent the next few months turning the acrobat Richard Grayson into the superhero sidekick of Batman. And on one fall evening, Bruce Wayne walked over and he saw Richard doodling designs for his costume. But Bruce agreed that the designs that Richard had drawn didn't work. They didn't speak to him as a person. And that's when Richard saw two robins flying nearby. Bruce told him, the robin is a sign of hope and rebirth in some cultures, almost a sign of growing up. So with that, Robin was born, and he went on to fight with Batman in many battles, and he became one of the strongest allies Batman has ever had. And on the anniversary of his parents' death, he decided he wanted to remember them, but he wasn't sure how. It was Alfred Pennyworth that recommended that he remember them by living up to his namesake, the Robin. So every year on the anniversary of his parents' death, he lives his life to the fullest to remember the good times. Now, as many of you know, Richard Grayson worked with Batman for a very long time, but eventually it was time for him to grow up, and he became the superhero known as Nightwing, allowing Jason Todd to take over as Robin. And then eventually, his identity was revealed to the world, and he became known as the Spy Grayson. We do have a video explaining his transition to Grayson, so you're going to have to check it out sometime. And as for Jason
I was wondering
Todd,
why they
he's the
kept
next
calling
Robin
him
that we're going
Grayson.
to be covering.
I never.
I don't think
just
you're
thought
aware of just how deep
that's
the
a
Joker
old
was in his
version.
history.
Old
As
version.
usual, I'm Benny the Comic
Different
Historian, and you can
universe,
follow us on
that's what I
Twitter at ComicStorian or our subreddit r/ComicStorian. Don't forget, we also have a video game variety channel and a list-based channel known as Eligible Monster Gaming and List Bomb. You can find both of those in the description down below, and I will see you guys next time, right here.
If your weekends are rugged, but your weekdays are smooth, then you're a man.
Welcome to our Origin series, where we give you the origins of your favorite superheroes and villains. Now, some of you guys probably don't know this, but Dick Grayson went from being Robin to Nightwing to just being known as Grayson. So since that comic series has been doing quite well, and a lot of people are asking what happened to Nightwing following Forever Evil, we figured we would let you know what he did following Forever Evil. Now you see, during the story arc known as Forever Evil, Nightwing was publicly kidnapped, unmasked, martyred, and then killed. Everyone in the world thought that he officially died. He was then immediately brought back to life by good guy Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor went on to join the Justice League, and that's a story for another day. But if you haven't read the Forever Evil story arc, make sure you check out the video that we did on it not too long ago.
When the bad guys from
So,
another
the
world
story
make
of
the
what
world
happened
just a
to
little bit
Grayson, that was now
uninhabitable,
Grayson,
and
happens in the
Lex doesn't
immediate
like that
aftermath
idea.
of Forever Evil. Alfred is preparing to take some tea down to Bruce, and he heads over to the elevator that leads to the Batcave. He looks at a picture of Dick and Bruce, and he reminisces about it. Was it really that long ago, Master Dick? It doesn't seem like it was. As he gets into the elevator and he begins to try and call it, he says to himself that they've lost too many. First Damien and now Dick. It's enough. And then he stands there for a moment before he realizes that the elevator isn't moving. So Alfred calls Bruce over the intercom and he informs him of his predicament, to which Bruce simply responds, "It's okay, Alfred. The cave is having some issues and the cameras are down too. Go ahead and go back to the mansion. I'll be fine in here. I'll fix it." But before Alfred goes, he expresses his worry about Bruce. With Master Richard's passing, with the boys passing, he just wants to make sure that Bruce is okay. Dick Grayson was almost a son to Bruce Wayne, or as close as he had until Damien. And Bruce responds by informing Alfred that Dick wasn't a boy. He was never a boy. To which Alfred just says, "Of course." And he heads back to the mansion. Down in the Batcave, Batman and Nightwing appear to be preparing
Okay,
for a
right,
sparring
I think
match.
that's looking
Batman
pretty
says,
much
"How
okay
many
for the
times
bottom
have you
half. But
done
again, I
this? How
don't
many
want it
rules have I
to
given
use that
Where
picture,
you fight, how you
use the
fight.
background
You've done this too many
cut out
times.
too much. I just want it to
I need to see if
show
you're broken.
what's in
I
front,
need
which
to
is
see if you
obviously
still have the
this
heart you had once
skeleton
had.
figure
So
we've
one
got
more
here,
time,
Death,
Dick. Only one rule. You need to
or
win.
as most people believe he
So
looks,
Batman and Nightwing
she
go
looks,
at it.
it looks.
They start this fight like they've done so many times before. Two men, almost equals. The fight encompasses the whole cave, destroying
As in the
everything
comics of
around
Marvel,
them. And
obviously
Batman
Death
says,
is
"You
female.
let them take you. You let them reveal your secret."
And Thanos is in love
Nightwing
with her.
just responds,
But
"You
this
weren't
is
there."
just a
Batman
representation
continues,
of
"You
what
let
I
them
think
turn you into a bomb
Bane
and kill
Wings
you.
look
Before
on.
Luthor revived you, you let
Death.
everyone watch you die." As the fight continues, Batman just states, "I've trained you too long and watched you die." And then he hits Nightwing in the face. After that, I need to know if you're strong enough to know what comes next. Are you strong enough to make sacrifices that we will all have to make?
Gonna use a little bit of yellow now.
What is this?
Sort of
Bruce? So
to
their fight
do
continues.
like
And Batman
gold
just says,
around.
I have a
Go as
special
close as I
mission
can
for
get
you
with
today.
this one. It is a
I need
cheap
you to
one.
do something that
I really
your
do need to
friends,
get into
your family,
getting some
and
more.
even me.
Just kind of
I need you
decide
to
where I want to
stay
put the
dead.
gold. Where should I put the
And
gold
Nightwing
on the
just
chain
sits there
here,
shocked.
as well as on
No!
here.
And he kicks Batman into the
Maybe
air.
some here as well.
Batman smiles.
I'm not sure. I'm just gonna have a
and
quick,
says, Fight.
quick
Fight like
thing.
you can't be captured.
What do you think,
Like
guys? Where do you
can't
think I
be
should put the
killed.
gold?
Fight like you're alive.
Do I
And then
put
as
gold on there
Batman
too?
throws a
I could
giant
put a little
dice
bit of
at
orange
Nightwing's
on
head,
there.
knocking him
I have
off
a few
balance,
different
and
colours.
Spiral,
Not as many
the
as I would
SB
like,
nut.
but
They
it's
fight the
all I've
usual
got at
evils
the
in
moment.
world. A lot of people fight that fight. Spiral is the best. But before Batman can go any further, Nightwing interjects. But Tim, Jason, Alfred, Barbara. But Batman just keeps going. A lot of people fight that fight. Spiral is the best. I know this because of how long it took me to figure out that they were doing everything behind my back. And Nightwing just states, I can't. They're my family, Bruce. Our family. But Batman just keeps going. They're hunting masked heroes. They want our identities. Who we hate, who we love. As he smashes Nightwing into the Batboat. And Nightwing adds, after Damian, I can't do this to them. I just can't. But Batman just keeps going. We can't let them do this. You can't let them do this. But Nightwing continues to argue. I'm alive, Bruce. I'm alive. And Batman responds with one word. Good. As Nightwing tosses them both off of the catwalk and onto the classic Batmobile. Nightwing just says, how can you ask me to do this? Me. And Batman responds with, if they know our secrets, we can't fight. How many people will die if we can't fight? We need an inside man. We need you, Dick. They'll come for you. A masked man without a mask. Batman just asks one more question. Why do we fall, Dick? So that we can learn and get back up. But Nightwing just says, no. And he peels off his mask. No, that's not true. We fall because someone pushes us. And Dick Grayson stands back up as he finishes. We get back up so we can push back. As their fight comes to its end, Batman says to Dick that he's the only one who can do this. None of the other heroes have this in them. Spiral will just use them to get to the rest. And Batman finishes. I know I'm hurting the family, but this has to be done. And Dick responds yelling, after this it'll never be the same. Between us, it can't be the same. And then they exchange a few of their final blows, with Dick just saying, I'm not a boy. Bruce falls to the ground, finally taking his cowl off. And he says, that's enough. And Dick responds with, no, it's never enough. Finishing his statement with, one rule, I win. Bruce responds with the final word, good. Bringing the fight to a close. From there, Dick Grayson went to go work for the agency known as Spiral as Grayson. Spiral is trying to find every superhero's secrets out so he can use them against them. But Grayson is there to be the inside man and keep this from happening. That's how we go to the New 52 comic known as Grayson. I'm Benny the Comic Historian, and if you want to chat about this video, follow us on Twitter @ComicStorian, or you can go to our subreddit r/ComicStorian, where you can put it into your feed and catch our videos the moment they go live. Don't forget, we also have a list-based channel known as ListBomb, where you can kind of sit there and just listen to some weird lists, like the top 8 greatest time travel things. I'm Benny, and I'll talk to you guys next time, right here.
To the self-employed, contractors, and small business owners, we're Aldermore, and this is our manifesto. We're helping shopkeepers take stock, giving cabbies the knowledge, and offering plumbers advice on how to crack it. For the go-getters, the bright letters,
The bright
we're
setters, the
helping
lean
techies
setters,
get
the
switched
gives a
on.
crap.
Where did Dick
I do,
Grayson
actually.
go after he supposedly died? And only Batman knew that he came back.
What colour shall I have as clothing? It can't be. It
Welcome
could
to
be
the
black.
Complete Story Series.
but,
We take trade paperbacks and single issues, and we
could
break
be
them
purple.
down into digestible bites to help them understand.
Could be
Then
purple.
review it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the
Can't-
panels, text,
could
and
be a little
images
bit of
are
red in
present
there.
copyright problems, and all
Could
artists
do a
owned
bit of
by
black in
respective
there.
companies. Anytime we do a Batman story that doesn't feature Nightwing, many of the comments are asking, where is Nightwing?
It's not going to be white.
After Forever Evil, he was assumed
It could be
dead.
just grey.
So
suppose.
today, we're going to explore Grayson Issue 1. Because the new book is shaping up in a manner where most of the issues are rigged up to be separate adventures about him, just like episodes in a TV show. Dick Grayson was an amazing acrobat, one of the Flying Graysons.
And once
Parents
again,
murdered.
I've forgotten to take a
Batman
picture
helped him find new purpose
before
as Robin. Arguably,
carry on.
the best
So what I'm going to do,
Robin
guys,
ever was. The
I'm going to take a quick picture of this on the tablet so I can digitize it later. Before, because I've changed the wings. So for the original pictures I've taken, I'd best change it a little bit. Hey, what do you think? No, I don't want Google. I want camera. There we go. Change that one up. And we'll go back to the playlist. Because when I digitize, guys, I need a reference picture, and I always use the picture that I've drawn myself, because then I know where I'm going with it, instead of trying to do it all freehand again, because it's a pain in the ass.
He became Nightwing, the hero of Bloodhaven, practically a brother to Bruce Wayne. But he outgrew that role as well. Or he died, rather. When the crime syndicate arrived on Earth with the Forever Evil storyline, they unmasked Dick Grayson on national television. Then they murdered him for all to see. Batman did revive him. But where does an unmasked superhero go? He goes undercover into a spy organization that is trying to get the identities of all of the superheroes. The organization is Spiral, and Dick Grayson is now known as Agent 37. And he's joined their ranks to find out what their true purpose is, and keep Batman informed. Now Grayson is on the Trans-Siberian Railway in a blonde wig. He somersaults onto the top of the train car, and he finds himself jumped by one of the thugs who was also on the roof. He struggles for a second, but then he gets the gun out of the thug's hands, and he throws it against a nearby pole, ricocheting it back into the thug's head. He sighs to himself as he handcuffs the thug to the roof. The downside of the solo act is that no one's around to see him full stop. But little does he know that Midnighter is watching from a distance. Damn, that was pretty cool. Grayson lands inside of the train car. He talks his way out of needing a ticket before entering the dining car and having a seat at the bar. Next to him is a gorgeous blonde, hitting on an older, fatter Russian gentleman. The older Russian gentleman's name is Niall, and he's Grayson's mark. The blonde woman would be from a competing agency also trying to get their hands on this mark. So Grayson accidentally spills his drink onto the woman's chest, forcing her to leave the bar to get cleaned up. The woman walks away grumbling to herself before feeling dizzy as she looks up at another woman standing over the bar. Grayson's partner, Helena, is looking at the woman. Don't worry, it's a paralytic agent that was spilled onto your ample chest. Who are you? Checkmate? Shut up and enjoy the scenery, Helena tells her. While Helena is talking to the blonde bombshell, Grayson managed to slip a roofie into the Russian man's drink and is currently carrying him out of the train car onto the side of the train, and then he jumps off of the train and off of the nearby bridge with the man in tow. But the thugs begin to immediately fire upon him. Grayson radios to Helena. We're taking fire! Do something, Agent 37, or do I need to remind you what can happen if you breach his containment field? So Grayson thinks quickly, and he uses an implant that Spiral gave him, known as Hypnos, to hack into the Russian man's mind and implant a suggestion. I'm your friend. You've been lonely and afraid for so long, I just want to help you. Yes, help you, friend! So the two men run to a nearby nuclear silo with the enemy agent still shooting at them. They get all the way to the silo and they hide inside, but once they get inside, the Russian man passes out as something has hit him, and Grayson finds himself being assaulted by Midnighter. They bounce off the walls and the catwalks of the facility, with Grayson getting a left hook in and Midnighter headbutting him. So Grayson uses his Hypnos implant again on Midnighter, and Midnighter immediately knows what this means. A Hypno implant? That means you're Spiral, and you aren't here to help the poor sap at all. You're here to exploit him. But before Midnighter can say or do anything, he's blasted through the wall of the silo and into the sky. Grayson turns to his Russian friend standing there. I help you. It's what friends do. You're burning up. I need you to vent. Is it true what men said? You just want to use me? Yes, it is. I'm just like the men who asked you to smuggle what's inside of you. I'm not your friend. You're a loser that I know I can manipulate. And the Russian man blasts the wall trying to hurt Grayson, but he cartwheels out of the way and lets the man blast away again while he continues to dodge, until finally he burns out and collapses to the ground. Grayson has Helena come by for the extraction. They both come in for their debriefing where the head of Spiral congratulates them for an incredible job well done. And that night, while he's trying to call into Mr. Malone, aka Batman, Grayson gets a visitor. Helena just wanted to spend some quality time with him. But he stops her. Isn't this forbidden by Spiral? I know that. I just wanted to see if I could get away with it with you without using Hypnos. Good night, Agent 37. I know that this is relatively a short one, but like I said, the Grayson issues are broken down into almost single issues being single stories, with an overall arc of him trying to figure out what's going on in Spiral. It's a great way to do things. And if you guys enjoyed this story, then we'll just keep pumping these out and give you each individual issue for Grayson, at least until it runs out of its first storyline. I'm Benny for Comic Storian, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the other ones on screen right now. You just might like them. And you can chat with us on Twitter at Comic Storian and at Instagram at Comic Storian. I'll see you guys next time right here.
For people, for plans, for 200 years.
Separated from the rest of the Bat family, what is Grayson going to do on his own as a secret agent? Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues.
So I'm just sort of going around now, putting some extra detail colouring in, putting it in places, sort of deciding as I go. I'm not fixed to anything, any particular thing. I have obviously put a few different lines here and there and everywhere on different things.
This is the second issue of Grayson, and as we've stated before, each issue is a self-contained story.
I'm just sort of feeding it as I go through.
The story opens up on Helena training the newest set of recruits at the St. Hardin's finishing school. Today's lesson is how to fire a crossbow into the head of an enemy. When out stumbles the Hood, one of Spiral's many agents. As he collapses on the ground, he cracks a joke that Matron Bertinelli looks lovely today. Meanwhile, Batman is busy battling against the Cycles of Violence, a low-level biking game. Mr. Malone, this is Birdwatcher. This line is secure. Is this a bad time? Batman tells him to hold on while he jumps over the biker, kicking him off the bike and forcing it to crash. Are you safe, Birdwatcher? I'd say I'm pretty good for a dead man. How's Gotham? Chaotic, insane, beautiful. And your funeral was nice. How did Al, the butler, take it? And Red Riding Hood? Birdwatcher, dick. The longer we stay in this line, the more likely we'll intercept it. Yeah, you're right. I don't need to know. I'm going to wrap this up before the flowers in my grave wilt. Birdwatcher out. He then steps out of his room and he walks on to his mission briefing with Helena, his partner. They enter the head office and Mr. Minos explains that Agent 24, also known as the Hood, has returned. He was tracking a black market meta bioweapon, an enhanced stomach. Mr. Minos wants Grayson and Helena to pick up where this mission left off. And of course, they get to use the Spiral Mobile. They head off into the rain in their Spiral Mobile, which is a rather tiny car that Grayson got to take a great nap in. Helena will go report on the missing sheep in the area, while Grayson heads off to chat up with the locals in the pubs and see where that can get him. It's quite obvious who did better, though, because 3 hours later, we find Grayson taking a series of blows to his body from a speedster. As they run off shouting, "Sorry, human tenderize!" Grayson thinks fast, throwing a flashbang at the wall and then shooting it with his gun. The flash distracts the speedster and drops her to the ground. She pulls off her glove and looks at her hand and sees wrinkles starting to form. So she panics and boom! She runs off shouting, "No!" Helena runs down into the tunnels because she heard a shot. She says that she found all of the sheep gnawed to the bone and shoved into a cave. So Grayson explains that this girl picked him out of a crowd and brought him down here where their fight began. They walk deeper into these tunnels and they find a training facility placed into a bomb shelter. They also find human bones. And Grayson and Helena put it together that this girl has been eating people down here in the basement. But before they can continue the discussion, Grayson shoves Helena to the ground as the speedster has returned. Grayson throws another flashbang against the wall, distracting her. And the girl explains that she's doing this because she saw so many horrific things working for the group She didn't want to do this, but she didn't have the time to find somebody to test this properly. So she put it into herself, and the faster that she moves, the faster she ages. She then whips up a storm, throwing both Grayson and Helena to the ground as she takes a bite out of Grayson's arm. There was never enough food. I was always hungry. Grayson tries to kick and punch, but he can't get at her. You just can't do it. She moves too fast. But Helena tells him to stand down. What? Why? Because Spiral can use her. We're going to offer her a job and not risk damaging the implant. Wait, what? She's a cannibal. She killed people. She ate them. She's not a supervillain, Agent 37. Your old superhero days are over. She's an asset to Spiral. Grayson and Helena stare each other down. And then she throws a punch at him. Oh, come on. You didn't think I saw that coming? I can read your mind, Helena. So Helena leans in and says a trigger phrase, deactivating Grayson's hypno implants and knocking him out. The metahuman was brought in and the organ removed, stopping her speed and metabolism. And Helena didn't report Grayson's insubordination to their leader. While not happy with what happened, Grayson will have to deal with it while he remains undercover. And as we go to the secret offices of Mr. Milo, we get a better scope of Spiral's plans. He's trying to build metahumans equal to other superheroes. With the part that they gained on his last mission, Grayson on board with Spiral and his new enhanced stomach, he now has a Batman, Cyborg, and a Flash. What will he get next? And will Grayson find out? Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you're enjoying these bite-sized Grayson episodes. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of them. And don't forget to check out these other videos on the screen right now. You just might like them. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ComicStorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.
As a creative, you know that creating great video is really hard.
Yeah.
We built Frame.io to have all the video we're working on and the people.
I'm damn fed up hearing
How
his voice.
far do you think Dick Grayson would go just to save a child? Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites. Then we're ready to mail them back to you. All alterations in the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Welcome to the 5th issue of the Grayson series. This is our continuing story of Dick Grayson, former Robin, former Nightwing, now Agent 37 of Spiral, trying to figure out what their master plan is for Batman. And this story begins with a plane crash. Fire burns in the back of the plane as Grayson and Midnighter argue over a dying woman giving birth. What are you doing? You said that if I didn't throw you off this aircraft, you could save her. I'm not the one who kidnapped her, Spiral. Yeah? You're the one who led Argus to us, and you got us shot down. That's when Helena from the pilot seat chimes in. The Argus EMP hit everything. Not only are our engines down, but all of our systems aren't responding. So are you going to help her or not, Midnighter? Shut up, Grayson. I have the head. Just hold her still. Grayson looks down at the poor woman, worried. He knows this isn't going to end well. And the fact that they're going down isn't helping the situation. As smoke fills the air around them, Midnighter tells the woman to push. He can get the baby still. And that's when the ship hits the ground. Hard. Grayson realizes how this story is going to play out. No, I'm losing the mother! I'm losing the mother! No! As they take into account all of the supplies that they have, Grayson is holding the crying baby. Helena tells them the bad news. The closest town is 200 miles south of their position. Across the empty quarter, a desert with a hot and blazing sun. We're dead, Midnighter says, comforting. We're not dead, Grayson tells him. I found formula and bottles in the mother's things. Plus, we have some water and a few MREs, Helena tells the group. It's not enough. We're dead, Midnighter says, once again reassuring his group. If we're dead, she's dead, Grayson says, looking down at the baby. So we're not dead. We walk. And he starts the trek across the desert. Day 1, there isn't any talking. But as the sun beats down on our heroes, Midnighter does drop his leather jacket. Then Helena hits the ground, and he goes to help her up, discovering that she was injured in the plane crash. Day 2, Helena's injury starts to get worse, and they are already hitting the end of their water supply. But Grayson won't give up. This child has to make it. That night, over their campfire, Midnighter explains the situation. The child has the heart. It's full of energy. Spiral and Midnighter have been looking for metahuman enhancing organs for their respective organizations. This child has the one that they all came for, a metahuman enhanced heart. Grayson and Helena's mission is to get the child back to Spiral. But as Midnighter tells him, give me the child. With that energy, we can survive this, and we can make it all the way back. Give it to me, or I'll take it from you, and I'll win. I can see what's coming, remember? I can fight with your style, Midnighter tells Grayson. But Grayson ignores him. That's when Helena takes a knife to his throat. Yeah? Did you see that coming? Grayson just sits there holding the child. Shh, baby girl. Day 3, Helena's injury gets the better of her. She falls down in the desert. Grayson runs over and he tries to give Helena the water, but she stops him. The water is for the baby. Promise me that that water will only go to the baby, she says. We went for her. We took her. It's all her. You have to get her back, Dick. So Grayson takes his shirt off and he pitches a tent for Helena, allowing Grayson and Midnighter to continue on. As the sun begins to set, Midnighter taunts Grayson once again. You think you're so high and mighty saving that child? What do you think Spiral's going to do with that child when you bring her back? You don't think they'll let her keep the heart, do you, Grayson? Grayson spins around and cold clocks Midnighter. Hurry up. There's a lot ahead and you're slowing us down. Day 5 is just Midnighter taunting Grayson. We should fight. Grayson ignoring him. Day 6 is Midnighter continuing. We should fight, so I can win and take the baby. Day 7, even Midnighter is getting tired of himself. We should. And he falls in the desert. Hey Grayson, I have enhancements, I have powers. What do you have? And Grayson leaves the water for Midnighter. I have her. As of day 8, it's only Grayson and the child. He tells a story about his dreams as a child. Day 9, he keeps telling that story, but he is finally beginning to lose himself to the heat. And day 10? Well, day 10, Grayson went as far as he could, and he collapsed, holding the baby up still. That's when a nice couple happened to cross him. He made it. He was rescued, and so was the child. A week later, back at Spiral, Grayson and Helena were still in recovery, and the head of Spiral was going over the report. He was sad that they lost the heart. Supposedly, it was lost in the crash and is unrecoverable. Oh well, on to the next enhanced organ. But the truth is, the child is fine, being raised by a loving family elsewhere, and the heart is still with that child. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. As I've said before, I love the Grayson arcs, and I hope to continue doing these Grayson stories for you. Trust me, this whole enhanced organ thing is building up towards something, and the ending is really awesome. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you check out the other videos on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys next time right here.
And I'll see you guys still here. And again, guys, if you're enjoying yourself, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you do. If you want to hear it and find out where I find these comic story and playlists from, guys, let me know down below, and I'll put it in the comment section down below if I haven't already.
Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites, then review the dramatically back to you. All alterations of the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Don't forget to support the industry by buying your favorite comics online or at your local comic book store. This is the 3rd issue of Grayson, and as we've stated before each issue, these are self-contained stories with a minor overarching plot. So today, we're going to be exploring the story, The Gun Goes Off. Our story begins with us looking down the barrel of a gun. The man that we are looking at is Barton Tar, and he has another enhanced organ the Spiral is trying to get his hands on, and Hans dies. But since we're looking down the barrel of a gun, we know that this doesn't end well, as the assassin, the Old Gun, kills Barton and takes the eyes. Old Gun has no eyes of his own. He was hoping to put them into his own head, but instead of eyes, the sockets where his eyes should be are linked to the barrels of his guns. What the guns see, he can see. So Agent 37, also known as Grayson, and his partner Matron are tasked with retrieving the enhanced eyes. But due to the importance of this mission, and just how fragile the package is, they'll have additional partners, Agent 1 and Agent 8. After Grayson gets a little close to Agent 8, all 4 head on to their mission. So Grayson walks
What to do next? Kind of like the way it is, but
and then he turns to Old Gun.
it has to be a bit darker, I think.
Looks like you're about done.
Yeah, it really needs to be a little bit darker. So let's.
No problem. And with that, Grayson grabs his line and tackles the Old Gun, pushing them both at the nearby window and out of building.
Blood on the tip of the wing here.
His line is attached to a
That's
helicopter nearby, being piloted by Matron, and he already has their target. Looks like it'll be a fast and easy mission. But Old Gun uses his guns to shoot the line, dropping them both to the nearby rooftop. As they both recover, Agent 8 takes a sniper shot at Old Gun, clipping him in the neck. So he spins around and fires a gun at her, and then one of the helicopter damaging it. With the helicopter going down into a burning wreck and Matron bailing out, Grayson pulls his gun on Old Gun. But Grayson has been trained to never use a gun by Batman. Never kill an enemy, regardless of what Spiral wants him to do. Please, I don't want to do this. Think about your boys. Haven't the guns done enough? And Grayson lowers his gun slowly. But Old Gun doesn't lower his until he gets hit in the neck by Agent 1. Dick Grayson, you're an idiot. The two of them escape the area with the authorities coming, and Old Gun also escapes. And back at the base, Agent 8 slaps Grayson for not taking the shot. What kind of an agent lowers his gun? Spiral doesn't care about his previous life. Nightwing, Wing Knight, or some bird, whatever he was. He's Agent 37 now, and they need him on point. You're all like Batman, she exclaims. Little boys under little masks crying about their dead mommies. So Grayson calls up Mr. Malone, or Batman as he's better known, on their secure line. And she informs Batman that Agent 8 knows his identity along with the rest of Spiral. And then he asks for any information on this Old Gun guy so that he can track him down. And Batman tells Grayson that the Old Gun's real name is Christoph Tanner. And he has a son enrolled in preschool that's starting this fall. Realizing that this is the reason the old gun wanted his new set of eyes, Grayson goes to the school alone, where he easily finds old gun on the roof looking down at his son through the barrels of his gun. He approaches him and he tells him that his son is going to be in class 118 in Miss Santalou's room. Old gun then turns his guns to Grayson. I get it. Guns make things go faster. But what's the rush? Grayson says, not even ready to defend himself. So old gun lowers the pistols. He then throws Grayson the box with the enhanced eyes. The doctor said they won't work for me, so here, take them. Before we do what we gotta do, can I meet my kid? Sure, go for it. But that's when a bullet hits old gun, dropping him. Grayson screams out, no! And over his radio, he hears Agent 8 and Agent 1 report in. They followed Grayson. They congratulate him for a job well done. But next time, he should get the entire team involved. But old gun isn't dead, and he turns to where the shot came from, and he shoots Agent 8 in the head, with Grayson once again screaming, no! Old gun then falls, dead into the schoolyard in front of his own son. Then Agent 8 falls down onto the roof, dead. Grayson takes a seat on the roof as Agent 1 comes over the radio. Agent 37, do you have eyes on Agent 8? She isn't reporting in. Agent 37, are you there? Agent 37! And Grayson, with a very stern look, just responds, it's not my name. Back at Spiral headquarters, Mr. Midas calls in Matrix to report that he's getting a pirated signal. Someone is making encrypted calls from their base. She needs to find out who it is. This operation to gain the powers of superheroes can't be compromised. And that is issue 3 of Grayson. Personally, I love these individual issues of Grayson. And this storyline is really good. I really do enjoy it. This is actually what got me to read all of the Grayson arcs. And trust me, it gets really good by issue 12. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more comic book goodness. I'll see you next time right here.
What do you think, guys? We're getting there. I'm going to put all of the white that now in black.
Grayson seems very
I've decided that I think white the skull will pop out more if I was to put this not in color and just put it in black.
Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. But then we're going to dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is issue 6 and 7, Brains of the Operation. If you're just now joining us, Dick Grayson was presumed dead when he was supposedly killed during the events of Forever Evil. He was then asked by Batman to go undercover as Dick Grayson into the organization Spiral to try and understand what their plans are. The organization of Spiral has been sending in Grayson as Agent 37 with his team to get various metahuman enhanced organs, and this time they are after a brain. Our tale begins with Grayson and Helena making their way across the coastline of the Yellow Sea, moving towards the base of a group called AWOL. They are a collection of deserters from various criminal organizations pulling heists for personal gain. But as they get closer, a giant killer whale attacks them. Orca! Grayson shouts out, pulling Helena out of his path. But then he sees what he's actually fighting. Let me modify that! Zombie orca with legs! Helena explains that they are actually security nanocytes and they're attached to whatever is nearby when they lack a human host. Grayson hits it with a bolt from his crossbow and he watches it fall into the ocean. Return to the ocean and swim free, Willie! The two of them come over the ridge and in the base of the group AWOL, where they see everyone as dead. Grayson walks through shutting the eyes of the dead soldiers in shock at what's happened to them. And he asks what this brain does that could cause this to happen. Helena tells him that they don't know what the brain does, just whispers and rumors about its abilities. But off in the distance, Midnighter is watching them. And while he can't see their faces because of their viral hypnos devices, he does know Grayson's ass anywhere. Helena takes one of the few survivors and she begins to dig around in his head using her hypnos to search his mind for answers. That's when Grayson gets too close to the technology allowing Midnighter to stay hidden, and Midnighter reaches out, grabbing him. Hey, you dick! What Midnighter did was pull Grayson through a door to the God Garden, Midnighter's base of operations. He explains that this is where everything man-made gets hidden, and then he lunges at Grayson. You got in my way in Russia, and again in the empty quarter, and I'm the kind of guy that holds grudges. I'm on a mission and I don't have time for you, you goth club bouncer, Grayson replies as he jumps into the air and throws a baton at Midnighter. Midnighter catches it and replies, that's funny, I was on a mission too, to keep superhuman organs out of the hands of a spy organization called Spiral. They go back and forth trading blows and quips, with Midnighter starting to win as he studied Nightwing's moves. But that's when Grayson begins to win and he asks him, did you study Robin's moves? He gets the better of Midnighter, but that's when his eye begins to bully it as his hypnos begins to fail. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the God Garden has tech that turns off that wetware stuff, and then he knocks Grayson out. Or it allows me to install it, as he has now seemingly taken Grayson's hypnos tech. Back with Helena, she's finally figured out what's going on. The Fist of Cain has taken the Paragon brain. They plan to fill it with hate and anger until it's ready to explode and then launch a psychic attack on the nearby Peace Router. Meanwhile, back with Grayson, he's trying his best to overcome Midnighter, but he has the moves and the tech now. And once he knocks out Grayson, he'll use the Hypnos to trace the signal back to the Spiral base. So Grayson says the secret word and disrupts the Hypnos that Midnighter took out of him. Using that disruption, he uppercuts Midnighter, knocking him out finally. That's when an old woman appears behind Grayson. She asks him to follow her and apologizes for Midnighter's actions. It was unattended, and his temperament got the better of him. But now, she'll need Grayson's help in stopping the Fist of Cain, because they've been built to destroy the God Garden, to destroy her, the Gardener. And Grayson is going to be needed to save the God Garden. With Helena moving towards Israel to stop this, she has Mr. Minos patch into Grayson's hypnos so that she can see where her partner has vanished off to. And what she sees is Grayson locked in a cell in front of her, which means that someone else is using the hypnos, and when he gets close to the glass, she sees that it's Midnighter. So she has an idea to link up Grayson's implant, which is in Midnighter, with her implant so that she can show Midnighter what's about to happen and get him on board, because he's the only one that can save Grayson now. Meanwhile, Grayson is trying his best to convince the Gardener to let him out of the cell, but the Gardener explains that she wants thousands to die in Israel. It'll show the world that this artificial superhuman arms race needs to end now. God Garden wants to unleash this flood to combat sin. But at that moment, Midnighter's brain overloads as his hypnos is getting all of the information from Helena. He hits the ground and blood begins to pour out of his eye. But he does manage to get out the order. God Garden, release Grayson. Open the door. We need to stop Israel. He turns around to the door and shouts, Gardner, you have to let me go. I saw things, and I think Grayson is telling the truth. But while Midnighter is now on his side,
I put that in there. I don't like it.
Gardner as well, telling
But
her
I
that
don't
he
think
saw
I'd like it
refugees
either way
she
because
saved,
of
but
the
she
way it
has
is. I can always change it
Why is she keeping
when I do a digital version.
Midnighter walks to the door begging Gardner to
What do you
release
think?
Grayson. He doesn't want to fight her. Please.
Let me know in the comment section, guys. I'm not going to do too much to the wings, as they're going to stay white, obviously, because they're bone.
Holds up the Paragon blade, and thoughts of hatred, murder, and death pour into the people of Israel.
But there's the detail I've put in so far.
The Gardener is finally convinced. Midnighter and Grayson walk
And
one of the
we've got a bit of
many
buff, so we'll just
doorways
scan over this.
of the
But there is purple
into
and
Israel,
blue. I don't know
ready
if you
to
can
stop
actually
all
see
of
the
these
purple there, but there is
Midnighter
purple
takes crowd
on there as well as
Grayson
blue. I
leads
think
all
it's the
people
camera.
fighting and makes a break
It's
for the
not showing up
But
as
just
much
as he gets close,
colour
he
is
sees
actually
Helena
there, but it never
coming
really
forward
does
as
on
she's
this
been
camera.
affected by
So don't forget
violence,
to come over to
shouting,
Instagram,
"Agent 37,
where I
you
will be
abandoned
posting
me.
this
You left
picture,
I hate you. I'll kill you." He pushes her back as she reaches in to kiss
so you
the
can see it in
surprised
full
Grayson. There, that
detail.
cleared my mind, she tells him. I'll disarm the crowd. Get the break. Even more different. Grayson jumps back in. Sure, I'll keep clean thoughts going. He jumps back onto the stage and he kicks a knife away that Midnighter tried to throw,
But
telling
I'm pretty
him,
much done
"No
on
one
that
gets
part
killed."
of it now.
And then he begins to drop the
Might
leader
give it
and
like
his
a
moves on the stage one
ever
at a
so
time.
slight
And while
tinkle.
that's going on, Helena
Colour.
finds herself overwhelmed. And
Very,
that's when
very,
the director of Spiral
very,
appears at
very
her,
lightly.
shooting the man off of her. She just surprisingly asks, "Director Minos?" Back on stage, Grayson gets ready to smash the device holding the brain, and he holds it over his head, ready to smash it when he realizes that he needs to feed it positive emotions instead. It's the only thing that he can do to end this. If he just breaks it, the entire world will be stuck with thoughts of hatred. So he thinks about everything that he has, his family, his safety net, and he changed the Paragon's mind. Grayson walked back into the debriefing where Mr. Minos congratulated him for a job well done, and he wished that he could have been there. As he said that, he and Helena shared a look. Back in God's garden, Midnighter tells the gardener that he's done with this mission. He can't work for someone with a hidden agenda. He isn't Grayson. And that brings us to the end of Grayson 6 and 7. This story arc is coming to its dramatic finale, and I can't wait to bring it to you guys. I hope you've been enjoying our ride with Grayson, and don't forget to check out the entire Grayson playlist if you haven't seen any of them. I'm Benny the Comic Historian, and I'll see you next time right here.
is delicious.
Good.
But what?
You see, phones are good. On the best network for data. 3.
Nah, good.
Grayson has been working for the Spiral organization to acquire metahuman-powered organs so that his organization can understand the Justice League. Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues, and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies.
I think we're pretty much there, guys. To be honest with you, this is another 2 hours of stream, so thank you very much for making it all this way to the end of the video. And as always, guys, if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss out on the next part, which will be digitisation, where we will be digitizing it and putting more effects and shading and everything else that I can't do with the coloring pencils and the pens that I have here. As always, guys, don't forget to check out the other videos from this month, as this is the last video for Nicole in the series for this month, which is Dark Month. So, guys, check out that playlist. See what you think of the other videos. See what you think of the other drawings. As I'd love to know what you think. Let me know what you think of this one down in the comment section, or if you're still watching live, you can hit that live chat button and tell me what you think.
She explains in a very weak voice that it was Mr. Minos. He fired a bolt into her chest, aiming for her heart. But she always keeps the sights off target when she's not using it. After he shot her, she played dead so that he would leave. She then pulls the bolt out of her own chest. Dick, listen, all of the agents are on mission except for you and Agent 1. He'll let Agent 1 first because he's at noon prayers in the chapel. She then passes out in his arms. Grayson stands up furious. I'm going after Minos. Wait! I've known this man for years. He's smarter than anyone, and he'll know you're coming, the doctor tries to tell him. Do you think I care? He says, kicking out the window. All of the students are being escorted out of the room, but a few of the girls who have taken a liking to Grayson decide that they're going to have some fun with this, and they go get their masks. Meanwhile, in the chapel, Mr. Minos shows up and points a gun at Agent 1's head. Agent 1 then spins around, knocking the gun out of Mr. Minos' hand, and then shoves him to the ground, pointing the gun at his crotch. You have 3 seconds to tell me you've gone crazy or what the meaning of this is. Mr. Minos tells him, I have a secret. Meet Paragon. At that moment, Agent 1 is thrown into a wall by a cyborg robot monster. See, Paragon has the powers of the Justice League. I know. I told everyone that we were collecting the organs to identify the heroes, but when you're planning to expose the secrets of a horribly powerful organization like Spiral, it can't hurt to have a few of these on your side. Paragon begins to crackle as he charges up a beam similar to Cyborg's energy, and he blasts it at Agent 1. Luckily, Grayson arrived just in time to pull him out of the way. What do you know? Grayson asks him. Minos is insane, and the monster has the powers of the JLA. We're going to die. What do you know? Minos took at Helena and the comms. We're all that's left. We're not going to die, Grayson tells him, as he's dodging more of Paragon's blasts. Have I mentioned you're an idiot, Dick Grayson? Agent 1 says as he also leaps out of the way of another blast. Yeah, that's pretty much implied, but I've been working alongside the JLA for a long time, trained with them, and they have weaknesses, so will he. He then explains as he dodges and maneuvers around every one of Paragon's moves over and over. Cyborg's blasts are preceded by a small crackle. The Flash needs room for his speed to work, so stay in close. Aquaman's eyes are perfect. That makes his aim perfect, but it also makes him predictable. Green Lantern's constructs require a crazy concentration, so come in from multiple angles to confuse him. And Superman's breath takes 4.2 seconds from when it hits you to take you down. Plenty of time to maneuver away from it. Martian Manhunter's mind attack just takes concentration of will to avoid. He then goes in to hit Paragon, telling Agent 1 to never give in. And then as he helps him to his feet, he says, at least he doesn't have Wonder Woman's strength. Thank God we never got the heart. We never brought back the heart! Grayson realizes what they can do to stop Paragon, except they both realize that Agent 1's gun is on the other side of Paragon. That's when they're saved by the girls from the school, as they come running in with their masks and launching darts at Paragon to distract him. Grayson does a backflip over Paragon, catching the gun as the girls throw it to him, and then he lands, shooting Paragon right through the heart, shutting him down. Minos walks over clapping, telling them they did a job well done. Now they can just sweep him away, another secret to be kept. But how will they keep him from talking? He's been using Spiral to get all of the world's secrets, and he now has everything. And that's when a crossbow bolt appears in his chest, right in his heart. and behind him is Helena. I fixed the sights, ending Minos. But did they really? Across the world, Minos is sitting at a diner explaining that he left a light composite of his own design behind to pretend to be him. Someone to play the cliched explain everything villain that every hero wants to fight. So they'll fight him, and the real Minos can walk away. The woman sitting across from him asks him, "Where will you go? What if I need to reach you?" He responds with, "Ireland. I'll be in Ireland." But before he can go, she asks one last question. "How did you know?" No? Like, how did you know Spiral didn't manipulate you into doing this? I mean, they knew who you were all along. And maybe they just wanted someone like you to be their face for a while. What? Why? You said it yourself. You're kind of a cliched bat villain, except you obsess with instead of things like penguins. The exact type of thing that they could use to attract someone like Grayson into their web? Wait, what? How do you? And now they can gently encourage him to serve their larger purpose. And now they can let you go. Wait, do I know you? You're Agent Zero. You were only a rumor in Spiral's files. Oh God, please don't do this. At least let one last secret come out. My name is... And she kills him. Honestly, Mr. Whatever, do you really think I care? The story ends, but it begins anew. How will Spiral move forward, and how will Grayson and Helena deal with this? This original arc ends with issue 8, so grab issue 9 if you want to jump in right after us. And make sure you support this industry by buying these books. I'm Benny the Comic Historian, and don't forget to check out the other videos on the screen right now. You just might like them. What if Grayson fought Grayson? Could he defeat himself? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I bring it dramatically back 2D. All durations of the panel segment images are
Excuse me.
and all artists.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry, apologize. Oh, damn.
In an effort to allow him to keep doing the good that he does, Batman enlisted his help in trying to find out what the organization Spiral was doing. He worked his way in and discovered their plot. But right around the time that he should have reported back to Batman and gone home, Batman was missing. This is during the period in which Batman had amnesia with no word from home base. Grayson stayed with Spiral trying to figure out what his next move was. Because every time that he would call up and ask to go home, he got no answers. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Helena, the now leader of Spiral, gets a report that Agent 37, also known as Grayson, has been seen killing other agents around the world. The organization that controls Spiral from the shadows informs her that it was done with the same weapon that Grayson uses, so it has to be him. Grayson with Tiger, another agent.
There we are, guys. I think I'm pretty much done here. Maybe I could give the background a bit more of a darker tone to it. But I think you'll lose the pop. What I will do is I will put fire up behind it, but I will do that on the digital version.
Why would he betray her and Spiral at this point? But all the pieces do fit. It could only be him. Back in Spain, Grayson goes to the dance floor and he spies the woman with the big rock on a necklace. Then, as they proceed to dance the night away, Grayson makes his move and snatches the gem off of her necklace, pocketing
One
it.
second, now,
He
guys.
then
I'm
goes into
sorting
full
things out.
distraction mode, giving her a kiss, and walking away. She notices
There we
right
go.
away that the
So,
stone has been taken. She
Like I
makes
said,
a
I'm going to be
shout out,
putting fire
"Hey,
behind
hey,"
this
with a smile,
and
back
sort
to
of
the hall
making
where
it
Tiger's
standing
waiting.
maybe in
He does
hell
a
or
sprint down the
hellfire,
hallway to the
brimstone,
lady
things
who
like
gives him a
that.
call, telling him to take Tiger out of the equation. Agent 1 may have been
And
compromised. So
hopefully you
Grayson
have
cocks
enjoyed
his arm
today's
back
stream,
into
guys.
dropping Tiger. Really sorry, man.
You've learned a little
Looks like they
bit,
always used to say, when you stop
and I'm
listening
not
to the voices
completely
in your head,
happy
you
with
probably
the
are
hood.
crazy.
I wish
And
I
then they
didn't
separate
colour
one
that in
leaving
now,
Tiger at the mercy of
but
the guards.
it's done, and there's
Tiger
nothing
looks
I can
around
do
and simply says,
as now it's
"You're
in
an
ink.
idiot, Grayson."
But I've got
Grayson
it all
runs across
copied
the
out
building to where a guard
onto a
is being
digital
questioned about
format,
his
so I can
conspiracy.
change that
Remember,
when I do the
because
digital,
Spiral has
as
special
well as put
technology
the background
called
and
Hypnos
bit
that
more
blurs
shading to the
individual
bones,
spaces, so you'll never
and
know
maybe
what
to
they're
the
doing.
top
The guard
layer, because I don't want to put too much colour on
that
the
Grayson runs through, kicking him in the head. He tells him, "Don't forget my smile." Tiger looks
this
at the
piece
guards
here,
and begins to drop the ball within
because
seconds. Then he
yeah, I think
decides
it will
he's
take
going to
away
get
from the
revenge
actual
on
image
Grayson.
itself.
No one betrays
So
Tiger.
definitely,
As he
guys,
slips away,
what do you
requesting
think?
an extraction
Let
from
me
the
know
bench.
down in the
He
comment
warns
section
Tiger that
if
he
you've
isn't
caught this
to go
back.
after
Thank you
Grayson.
very much for
But
making
not
this,
much more to go on.
making it
Grayson
all
gets
the way
to
to the end of the
his
video,
fire.
and I will see you tomorrow for Wednesday, Halloween, and the digitisation and final day of Dark Month. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Keep tuned as the new theme will be coming out and start of the new film. New theme will be coming out the start of the next month, which is November. So remember, the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I will see you next time, guys. My name's been Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games. Here, every day on YouTube, occasionally on Mixer, every day and night over on Instagram. Don't forget to go over to Instagram to see the full picture, as the camera on this isn't that great, but thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Blut, same name, different place. Catch you later, guys. See you next time. I'll see you tomorrow for the digitisation of the Angel of Death.
He's snooping around on his current mission, but out of nowhere, Grayson appears up